But what I'm saying is, so you telling me that this knockoff right here is $1 million business?
The company said it turned out that it was just shares that were valued at $2.5 million.
Same thing. Well, millions is millions, baby.
You know who got the most money that I wish I could get back? Jacob the Jeweler, man.
The music industry is rampant with scammers, con artists, and people looking to exploit naive artists. So it's no surprise when rappers, who are seen as easy targets, are the most common victims. But what most don't realize is that the majority of these scams lie right in front of our faces. Hi, I'm Rashad Bashir, and this is rap's most obvious scams. The first major scam in hip-hop is something we as fans see 24/7, jewelry. And the best way to expose the entire jewelry scam is by looking at the victims, because this scam works two ways, meaning there are scammers and there are those who get scammed. And of course, in this case, it's the rappers. The first victim on this list is Young Thug, who was exposed for wearing fake jewelry, which was a bad look for being known as a chronic flexer. For example, Young Thug once took to Instagram to flex for 15 minutes straight. Literally, you can look it up. By the way, free Thug. Young Thug was so addicted to flexing that even in an apology post on Instagram, he couldn't help but flex.
Babe, give me a chance. I promise I won't mess up no more. Everybody tell her to give me one chance. Tell her to give me one more chance, and I promise I won't mess up ever again.
However, even he's been fooled into buying fake jewelry, and he too ended up on the front page of Fake Watch Busta, who's a famous fake jewelry exposer, as the name suggests. Specifically, Young Thug was caught and exposed wearing a fake Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore Michael Schumer Platinum watch, but afterward a lot of confusion about who scammed Young Thug would arise. At first, Young Thug would respond to the claims that he was wearing a fake watch, claiming that it was actually a gift from the Prince of Dubai. That's kind of crazy. Thug would also later tweet out to Eliante saying, "Y'all need to call Eliante, that cost me 110k. So it was in fact not given to him by a Dubai prince. Young Thug was scammed. But Eliante would also deny the fake claims on Instagram, saying that at the Thugger1, only jeweler and every piece of jewelry ever bought has been 100% real. He got that watch from the Prince of Dubai. The watch is fake, then it don't change nothing because it was a gift. Don't get it f***ed up." However, Fake Watch Busta elaborated on his findings, giving this verdict. The biggest giveaway here is the use of a 7750 Val hooks movement in the fake watch, which makes for some spacing and depth problems around the date window. The in-house movement from the AP is modular, which makes the date really deep, and because of the custom size of the movement, it gets too close, facing towards the tachymeter. Now, I know absolutely nothing about watches, but it's pretty clear this watch is fake. If this is true though, then it means that Young Thug was exposed and clowned on by the world for something he truly did not know was fake. One of the most disturbing aspects of this is that rappers like Thug get finessed the most because they have a lot of money to spend and because of their tendencies to splurge. I mean, Young Thug genuinely believed he was wearing a really good and authentic piece. But Thug has actually been on both sides of the coin. Not only has he been called out for wearing fake jewelry, he also called out others for selling fake jewelry. This incident involves him and Icebox, another prominent jewelry seller in the rap scene. And since you're watching this on YouTube, you've 100% seen them, and I can't lie, they're really entertaining. But in this story, Thug would claim that they used predatory practices on him. So let me explain. Basically, in 2018, Icebox Jewelers tried to sue Young Thug, alleging that the Georgian mumble rapper owed them around $115,000 worth of jewels, along with $250k in damage. Dang. That's a lot. However, according to the court documents, Young Thug mentioned that over the course of several months and on multiple occasions, the plaintiffs, Icebox, solicited Young Thug and urged him to accept expensive jewelry without requiring any payment up front, which sounds like they tricked him. But speaking of Icebox, someone who is now a regular customer and visitor of their channel is Lil Baby. Honestly, he might as well be their mascot. So much so that they close the store for him every time he enters. And have even held pop-up shops at his birthday party. Pop-up shops. I'm sorry, I don't know why, it's just funny to me. But you see, despite having an insane jewelry collection, even Lil Baby got finessed. Back in September of 2021, Lil Baby was the center of one of the most controversial and targeted cases of being a big rapper being finessed by a jeweler when he attended the Met Gala and wore a $400,000 Patek Philippe watch. Prior to this, he had even showed off his fit on Instagram. As usual, Fake Watch Buster could never be caught slacking, immediately calling out the fake watch to Lil Baby himself and subsequently to his followers, explaining that the $400K watch was fake as hell. Within hours of fake Watchbuster's post, rather than denying the claims, Lil Baby immediately put the blame on Raphael and Co. and put them on blast, the jeweler where he bought the watch from. But he didn't just message them, he called them out in the most public way possible on Instagram, writing, "Now, at Raphael and Co, y'all know better than to sell me, of all people, fake or anything that could be a fake," he wrote on Instagram. And I'm not gonna lie, he wasn't lying. "I stand on my name the same way y'all should. Ain't no such thing as a mistake when that type of money involved." Of course, Raphael and Co, namely the co-founder Gabriel Jacobs, was keen and quick to release a statement for damage control, claiming, "I personally would never knowingly sell Lil Baby or anyone else anything that is not 100% authentic. I have known Lil Baby for a while and there's nothing fake about him, especially his jewelry and watches. I want to personally apologize to Lil Baby for what has transpired. Raphael and Co took immediate action to rectify this. We pride ourselves in being an honest business and will take great care to make sure nothing like this ever happens again." But it wasn't a good look. But that wasn't it. Lil Baby has also been involved in another jewelry scam. This time though, it isn't necessarily Lil Baby who's wearing fake jewelry. He was on the other side of the scam, because it seemed like fans were the ones caught buying and wearing fake jewelry that was presented as coming from Lil Baby's line of chains. In June of 2020, 10 days after Lil Baby's My Turn reached the Billboard 200's top spot, many people began to notice that Lil Baby's signature 4PF chain, which stands for 4 Pockets Full, was being sold on the Walmart marketplace. The chains for sale were posted as hip-hop celebrity style fashion silver plated Lil Baby 4PF pendant with silver tone plated 16-inch Cuban chain, which they sold for $24.99 to $74.99. By the way, the original 4PF chains costed Lil Baby around $700K, which honestly sounds like a scam too, but you know. And while the Walmart version obviously looks fake, the internet started to chime in on the issue and many fans also bought the fake chains, thinking they were from Lil Baby himself. Lil Baby then himself chimed in on the situation, more annoyed than anything, tweeting, "Walmart got me f***ed up." So clearly, he was very mad himself, and obviously the incident put Walmart in a bad position publicly, so the products were removed. And while Walmart did remove the WG jewelry products, problems still persist regarding rapper-related jewelry getting posted on the marketplace, such as a chain with the late rapper Nipsey Hussle's likeness, titled "Rapper Face Head 14K White Tone Designer Pendant Chain" by a company named Master of Bling, which sells for around $70. But this wasn't really Lil Baby's fault, he was just taken advantage of. Another notable victim of the jewelry game is Quavo. In an infamous GQ interview, Quavo showed off his jewelry collection, and as you will see in this video, whenever rappers show off their jewelry, the internet is quick to check them. And this is exactly how Quavo's shenanigans became exposed for the world to see. Quavo began by showing off his watch collection, which looks very impressive, and pay attention to how he compares it to real estate.
These are my houses, aka my watches. I feel like they're real estate and I got to have them with me, and I can't go nowhere without a few plain Janes on me. They kind of like real estate. These are like little mini houses that just go up in value. I don't buy bust downs no more because it don't make any sense. It's kind of like taking a Lambo and just taking the roof off of it and just depreciating your car.
Now, despite all the obvious scams we've explored, there are some positives, because diamonds do devalue watches. Quavo then goes more into detail explaining the value of his specific watches.
With the people that's, you know what I'm saying, that sell these watches, which is AP, shout out to AP, shout out to Greg over there at AP, and I just go in there and just get them out the store just like I'm buying shoes. A lot of people can't do that. This one is probably about $1 million right now. With the ruby. Before it was like 2 something. Now it's almost over, guarantee it's over $500,000.
According to Quavo, this watch is a Patek Philippe that costs more than $1 million, and his version, the ruby version, is the rarest that you can find. But here comes the messed up part about it. The ruby's color is off, which becomes immediately apparent when you compare the watch to the actual thing. After doing more research on the actual pictures of the real watch as well as the chain on the real Patek Philippe, we can see that it differs slightly from the one Quavo is wearing, which is another striking piece of evidence that shows the watch is fake. The watch's dial is also incorrect, as it's not the dial that comes with the white versions, and it also appears that it was constructed out of knockoff materials, which makes it even worse. In other words, one of the largest and most influential names in the game got scammed. But don't take my word for it. The famous watch expert Nico Leonard gave a much more educational and detailed dissection on Quavo's 5723 Patek Philippe watch, where he absolutely shows that this watch is fake.
This one is probably about $1 million right now. With the ruby. Before it was like 2 something. Now it's almost over, guarantee it's over $500,000.
He starts by practically just laughing in Quavo's face.
There's something wrong here, mate.
No.
No, he didn't.
What?
That watch is fake, mate. it's fake?
That watch is 100% fake. Mate, that's not real. Mate, what the fuck? That's not made by Patek Philippe.
So while Nico started off really strong with his disdain, he starts to go further into the details of the watch.
This is supposed to be the 5723-112R, the rose gold ruby Patek Philippe Nautilus. This watch was first introduced in 2015 at the same time when the rose gold 5711 was introduced on the bracelet. Correction, on the bracelet. And at the same time they introduced the 5723R in two variations, by the way, in diamond and in ruby. Both extremely rare, but the ruby is the rarest one of them all. This is not a real 5723.
Which I know I just explained earlier, but Nico's description is a lot more descriptive and will definitely explain to you a lot better. And it basically confirmed that Quavo not only got scammed with an inauthentic Patek Philippe, but also, just like every other rapper in this list, he probably overpaid 4 to 5 times more than he should have for this fake watch.
He's literally saying here that his Patek Philippe is $1 million or at least $500,000 or whatever. But everything is wrong on this watch. The color of the rubies are not correct. The dial is not correct. The case is with. And the date wheel comes out of a Calatrava. Like, you know the Calatrava, normal Patek Philippe dress watch.
Imagine paying $1 million or even $500,000 for a watch and it turns out it's fake. Pretty messed up. Keep it at that. Although one thing many notice about Quavo is that he likes to inflate the prices of his jewelry and even the ones he gives to people. Just take a look at this backhanded comment from Nico.
First watch, it's an Audemars two-tone rose and white. It was about $65,000 for that.
That watch was never produced in two-tone. So someone is telling him like fibs. That's an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak 15400. That watch was only made in steel and precious metals, but not in a bi configuration, steel and precious metal. To be fair to the other rappers in the past, mate, he says 65 G's. If it was one of the Migos, this watch would have been 650,000 pounds, like, because the Migos just put an extra zero on there.
But yeah, as established, Quavo got absolutely ripped off by his jeweler on that quote-unquote Patek Philippe for $1 million.
Yeah.
They share the identical movement, so you can swap that between because it's near enough the same movement. This watch is not made by Patek Philippe. This is a made up aftermarket bullshit watch with not even a Patek Philippe case nor bracelet. Bro, he's been in the...
And while getting exposed by an actual watch expert and seller for buying, wearing, and flexing a fake and overpriced watch is sure to get you a lot of negative attention on social media. Having your own colleague and brethren expose you, either intentionally or unintentionally, is another level of embarrassing. And that's exactly what happened to Quavo. In this case, we're talking about the Migos and Gucci Mane. So basically, in 2019, Gucci Mane got the internet trolls and Migos haters very excited when Gucci claimed that the Migos actually wore fake jewelry in their earlier days and that he gave 2 members of the Migos his own chains. In a now deleted Instagram post, Gucci shouted out the Migos and posted a video on Instagram himself in the studio with them, and in the caption he said, "The first day I met the @Migos, @Quavo Huncho, @Wire and Takeoff both threw away the fake chains they had on because I gave them both the 2 chains off my neck." So Gucci was just showing love, but Takeoff hopped in the comments and said, "That's cap, you know that. But I'm so blessed we gonna leave it at that. Thank you." Rip Takeoff, by the way. The good thing about this incident is that it never actually turned into something ugly, and that may be because of the brotherhood between them, but Gucci was adamant about what he said, standing on business by honoring Takeoff, who was tragically. And in a track titled Letter to Takeoff, the lyrics said, "The day we met, pain left my neck, you know I can't forget." So shout out Gucci. But speaking of rappers who were taken advantage of, sometimes rappers don't need to be tricked normally. The best jewelry scams are the ones hidden in plain sight. And that's exactly what happened in the case of Moneybagg Yo, who while flexing the price of his watch, ended up exposing himself.
I got this from Shine Jeweler. This is like 80. Got Jeweler, 2-tone Rolex. You can see like the white on the side, the yellow gold down the middle, bills are bust down. And actually I got this black face because when I rock this Michael Myers chain, got the black hair, just kind of go with it. Like, even though I don't pay attention to the time on it, it shine hard, so I just rock it for the...
And a YouTuber named KB Goes Live went into detail on how Moneybagg Yo got scammed by his jeweler, dissecting each part of the watch and how much the watch had cost. While KB does give props to Moneybagg Yo's watch, explaining it is a real Rolex, he mentions that the rapper paid $57,000 more than what he should have paid for the watch.
Now, it does have diamonds, but the best diamonds you can put in this watch are baguettes, which he does not have.
And by the way, just for reference, so that we can all sound like jewelry experts in this video, in the context of jewelry, specifically diamonds, a baguette is a type of diamond cut. And it's essentially what it sounds like, a cut that is shaped like a baguette, you know, those long pieces of bread in France. The reason why I elaborated on this is that baguette cuts are actually cheaper because they chip easily and they shine less, which just further compounds on the fact that he got scammed. So now you know. Just to jog your memory, Moneybagg mentioned the watch to have costed him around $80,000. So that already means that the melodic mumble rapper paid more than double for the Sky Dweller. Jesus, that's some heartless type of business from his jeweler, no pun intended. However, our guy Nico Leonard also did a review on Moneybagg's GQ interview, and as the largest watch-related YouTube content creator and largest cross-platform creator regarding horology, which is the study of the measurement of time and timekeeping, Nico definitely knows his stuff. So without further ado, let's get into his review of this watch. And I wouldn't even call it much of a review, but more of a critique. Now, just to jog your memory, Moneybagg Yo presented a dual two-tone bezel busted down Sky Dweller, which he mentioned was bought at around $80,000.
Let me grab a calculator, mate. Calculator. So let's play a game with this calculator, right? Let's buy a two-tone Sky Dweller together, you and me, just a plain Jane, right? Reference number 326933. Ah, there's one. A new Rolex Sky Dweller, reference number 326933 with a black dial. $22,500. Let's buy that, right? So how much did he say again?
This is like 80.
This was like 80.
And I can already feel Nico seething with British rage. By the way, as he starts calculating what the watch would really cost.
I just bought a plain Jane one at 22.5, and let's put 80,000 on there, right? Minus 22.5. $57,500. The most expensive diamonds on watches are the baguette cut diamonds. These are just throwaway diamonds.
Take note of what he says, throwaway diamonds, which means Moneybagg Yo paid to bust down his watch for a bunch of nothing. Because as many say, diamonds aren't really worth investing in the long run, and in some parts, they actually ruin the value of a watch.
You're paying most probably between $2,000 and $4,000 to ice this out. This is materials and labor, because it's very labor intensive to make this. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Say he paid $10,000, so more than double. I'm still missing $47,500, mate. That watch at tops, at absolute mega tops, is worth between $30,000 and $35,000. $80,000. My
The reason why Moneybagg was able to get scammed is because rappers like him take pride in how much they spend on their watches, not the actual value of the watch or jewelry they purchase, making them the perfect target for jewelers. What's very ironic is Moneybagg Yo used to be very smart himself and wear fake jewelry, knowing that it didn't really matter whether his jewelry was fake or real. It was more about the image. I guess as he got money, that changed.
I used to put on fake jewelry.
Because yes.
Like what? Because I used to understand about entertainment. You have to look like money to get money.
Wow.
You get what
That's
I'm saying?
one of the realest things anybody sat in that chair and said.
Exactly.
The next rapper who was supposedly ripped off by jewelers is none other than 6ix9ine. Here's him flexing his chain that he allegedly spent $1 million on.
Rappers cannot me, son. Take a look at this. Spent the $1 million on the chains, huh?
This isn't anything new though. He does it with all of his items of clothing that he owns.
You know what the going on, man? $150,000 chain, $5 t-shirts, $20 jeans, $20,000 grill.
He literally used to flex everything.
Got one house right here, 2 houses right here, 3 houses right here, 4 houses right here, 5 houses right here. Maybe 2 houses right there, you feel me?
A diamond detector detected that 6ix9ine's jewelry was fake.
I'm getting on the stone, bro. I'm getting on the stone, bro.
Nah, man, come on.
Where'd you get your jewelry from, dog?
Nah, bro, hold on.
That this clip might also be a skit set up by 6ix9ine and Ugly God, as 6ix9ine was also known for posting sarcastic content to his Instagram, but that was probably just a quote from his fans or when he had fans. And later on, he was also exposed for flexing fake money, as in a weird turn of events, after trying to save himself from a civil lawsuit for his involvement in a robbery in 2019, which would have cost him $11.8 million, 6ix9ine admitted to using fake money in the video, stating in an interview with TMZ,
I ain't got it right now. I ain't got it. And that was prop money. Like I said, I ain't got it.
That wasn't real money?
Nah, like I said, I'm an entertainer. And obviously we talking about it, so I did a pretty good job in entertaining people.
So not only was 6ix9ine's jewelry proven to be fake, but also his watch. And who else to give an honest and unbiased opinion / review on watches but our savage British reviewer, Nico Leonard.
To be honest, the first one looks like an RM30, which is about 250K. But he iced it out with aftermarket diamond, so it's probably worth about 175.
2 houses right here.
I'm pretty sure that the second one is an RM10 made in titanium, worth between $140,000 and $160,000.
Unsurprisingly, Nico dissected and exposed 6ix9ine's fake and worthless watches. Take a look look.
No, his watches are probably worthless because he's hanging them on a chain who's destroying not only the case but also the movement. And there's money on the ground. Maybe people are right. Maybe I don't understand this culture or this lifestyle. Maybe I'm too much of a boomer.
Nico just seemed done with all of this, but I think 95% of people on the planet would also feel that way if they were the ones watching 6ix9ine doing whatever he did.
The conclusion is that you destroyed my entire day and these guys don't change. People just presume it has diamonds. Oh, it must be valuable. That's incorrect.
But at the end of the day, 6ix9ine was the one finessing everyone else because he was aware that the jewelry clearly wasn't what he said it was. Of course, not all rappers are that savvy. Another one of the rappers who has been exposed for wearing fake jewelry is Soulja Boy himself. So much so that he's been called out for it multiple times. For example, Charlemagne asked Soulja Boy about it to his face.
Anybody, any rapper in the game that wear their chains on top of each other, they gonna do like that. I'm sorry, it don't matter who it is. From
That
Migos,
sound real to you, Envy?
they gonna do that. Anybody chains gonna do that.
He admitted that he was caught, but insisted his new stuff was real.
They had you on that fake watchbusters.com.
Yeah,
shit
plenty of
before.
times, but right now this is real though.
Do you believe him? But that's not all. Soulja Boy has even been caught going to fake jewelry stores at malls, and he's even addressed these claims.
Kind of toned down, like that was my first encounter like that in probably like
A long time.
4 or 5 years or something like that. But I guess, with the success of She Make It Clap, man, Ricky Morty and my record label, my video game console, clothing line, everything else I got, you gonna have, the fans. I call them fans.
The response where he brought up his success was a bit delusional, but at least he's admitting that he shouldn't have been out in public buying fake jewelry as a public figure. He did try and explain that there was some legit stores at the mall, they just cost him a lot.
Like bro, Rocky is in the mall, Jewelry Unlimited is in the mall, Ice Brothers is in the mall. Though the AP gonna cost you 60,000, the Rose Gold Cartier gonna cost you 60,000. So it's just like, I don't know. I think some people is just
Bitter.
confused.
A lot of people bitter.
Confused.
And I seriously don't understand what he was trying to say here either. Imagine you're caught with fakes and you just start naming expensive jewelry in watch stores. However, Soulja Boy has an addiction to fake flexing and seems to be determined to keep the act up, even though by now everyone knows he doesn't have it like he used to anymore. For example, during the pandemic, Soulja Boy mocked people for struggling financially.
We're broke in the pandemic.
I got rich in the pandemic.
The irony behind that is that Soulja Boy was once exposed to be using fake cash on Instagram. So Soulja Boy is a classic case of someone who feels like they need to keep up a public image, that they're a lot richer than they are, which is honestly just sad. The thing is, he probably feels like he has to do that due to the nature of flex culture and rap. So going back to our tragic discussions on rappers splurging ridiculous amounts of money on jewelry they don't even know is fake and overpriced, this one is a really sad case and one that feels dirty to watch, especially with just how much secondhand embarrassment this brings to anyone, especially if you saw it live, which I can't even imagine. This is the case with the rapper Ace Hood, who brought us classics such as Bugatti and Body to Body. At one point, he was poised to break through the hip-hop industry and become one of the biggest stars. Fortunately, he fell into irrelevancy along with his jewelry on live television, with the whole culture watching. So without further ado, here's what happened.
To the BET family, that boy Ace Hood, man, what's happening with you, bro?
Oh, we in the building, man. BET Wars going down. I'm happy to be here.
So let's establish the premise and tone for this. Imagine this. You're at the 2013 BET Awards, or you're watching it. Around 7.7 million people in the US and globally are watching live. This is 2013, considered another golden age of hip-hop. Kanye, Drake, Eminem, Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, and even T.I., essentially some of the biggest names in hip-hop in the last 3 decades, all battling for top spot in 2013. So the scene was getting intense, and there was no larger stage bigger for hip-hop than the BET Awards. So now that we've established this premise, now that we've set the stage, let's watch what happens.
Man, us young people just come through and take over, man. We done took over, man.
It's awesome, man. I'm happy to be here. My new album, man, is in stores July 16th. Make sure y'all pick that up. We just here, baby. We feeling good. You feel me?
Ace Hood was promoting his 4th album, Trials and Tribulations, a 19-track project that was heavily anticipated by fans and critics alike. Now, this release wasn't necessarily a make or break album for Ace Hood, but as we've stated, man, this is the BET Awards. This is in 2013. Almost 8 million people are watching. It's as real as it gets.
On top now, speaking of feeling good, man, I know that was crazy right there. That's the first time we let people perform. You want something, bro? Right there, right there. Hold it. Is that? Homie, you lost. Yo, he almost lost the bezel. Take care of that before we continue. That's gotta go. You know what? Just hold it like that. It's
You can see the exact moment Ace Hood's heart fell out of his chest.
When I saw it for the first time, I couldn't help but feel bad for him.
And although they did try their best to cover their mess up and just move on from the incident, the damage was done. In the aftermath of the entire watch fiasco at the 2013 BET Awards, Ace Hood, rightfully so, fired his jeweler. This entire scene was basically the most talked about during the entire awards event and in the coming weeks. And although they say there's no such thing as bad publicity, the image of Ace Hood almost panicking to gather the broken watch pieces and making a failed attempt to put his watch back, as well as the face Bow Wow and Angela Simmons made, were all indicative of how messed up the whole ordeal was. Ace later would decide to speak on the incident in a now deleted interview from SoundCloud, where he said that he was stunned when that happened and that he just kicked his jeweler to the curb, as he should. When he spends so much money on a watch, certain things are not supposed to happen. Ace said in his interview on Power 106, "My jeweler, I definitely had to fire the jeweler. He's going through it, man." Yeah, both Ace and his jeweler went through it for sure. I spent $60,000 on the watch, man. I was just as shocked as everybody else when it did happen. Ace said, "It never happened to any of my other watches or anything. I looked up. I didn't even know what it was. I figured out it was my bracelet. It wasn't no thing though." He's talking about his bracelet. True to his stance on fighting through the trials and tribulations of life, the album that Ace was promoting, he brushed it off, saying, "People just talking. I let them continue talking. It's no biggie to me. It ain't even that serious." So at the end of the day, when I look down, I'm like, man, things happen. We all got stories. I ain't the only artist who got stories. So this will be a story we'll always remember. Fortunately, he fell off soon after, but he was right. This is a story that many people remember. But Ace Hood, although he was embarrassed, had a lot of people sympathizing towards him. Huge shout out to SoundRaw for sponsoring this video. They're a really cool AI music software that I recently come across. So it's perfect for rappers or anyone making music to enhance or improve your projects with AI, and even creators like me who want to use background music for their videos. And the perk of this, of course, is that you're able to make good music that sounds good with no background in music in seconds. You might be wondering, hey, there are a lot of AI tools out there. What's different about SoundRaw? So number one, it uses responsible and ethical AI to generate a beat in seconds. And the beat you make in SoundRaw is fully licensed and royalty free. So you have the full commercial right to the song without paying anyone royalties. Everything is completely original and copyright free. Anyways, let me show you how to actually use it. All right, guys, so as you can see, we're on SoundRaw right now. So let's start with this one. And I'm just changing certain things up. I like when it's stripped back right here. So hopefully you thought that was pretty cool. You know, you can make cool beats in it, whatever types of music you really are into. SoundRaw is actually also something that real rappers are using, like Trippie Redd, Fabio Foreign, and French Montana. You see, the reason why they're hopping onto this is because there are huge cost savings on producers and no legal headache. Not to mention how easy and efficient it is to enhance their beats.
So check out SoundRaw and you can get 50% off with the code HIPHOP, and here's how you use it. Go to soundraw.io, hit pricing, pick the plan that suits you best, then hit subscribe, and type in the code HIPHOP before you purchase it. So one last huge shout out to SoundRaw for helping support my channel.
This next rapper, Plies, here you can see him flexing his jewelry.
You can't find a nigga who did it like this, bitch. I bet you can't find a nigga who did it this big. Double up. Stop that spending that little money on that Cuban.
Wow, see all those chains?
Well, don't we love when rappers flex their jewelry? I honestly do. So while it was enjoyable to see a rapper flexing his jewelry, he was immediately humbled after a show in Minnesota in 2009 when he returned to his hotel room and supposedly discovered 2 of his diamond necklaces had been stolen. The ironic part about this was that when the thief tried to cash the stolen goods, they found out quick that only the gold part of the chain was real and the rest was actually fake. All the gemstones were basically cubic zirconia. So imagine this, not only did you get robbed, but you also get exposed for buying, wearing, and flexing fake diamonds. God, I'm still not over the secondhand embarrassment I got from Ace Hood, and now this. But you see, Young Thug and Lil Baby weren't the only Atlanta artists to get scammed for jewelry. Another artist who currently isn't very liked in the city, Gunna, also flexed his jewelry connection in a notable video, only to get exposed and clowned on for unknowingly buying and wearing fake jewelry. In the video, Gunna flexes fake jewelry, as you can see.
Rolex that was given to me. He gave it to me for my birthday. After then, I just started just buying watches, just like all different types, not just Rolex.
By the way, just an interlude, it's kind of eerie hearing Gunna talk about Young Thug like this, especially with all the rumors of him snitching on Young Thug and YSL in general. But anyways, back to the video.
Watch, it's an Audemars two-tone rose and white. It was about 65,000 for that. Plain Rolex. I didn't pay for it, but I think they probably like 16,000. Your Thug gave me this. This is the latest watch I bought. It was Richard Mille. It was about 125,000.
So let's see what our guy Nico Leonard thinks of Gunna's watch collection. Nico went on to explain that Gunna's watch was horribly fake.
He literally looked disgusted.
They're absolute rubbish, man. Yeah, the Richard Mille's alright. That they just that he with that bezel, because that's a bezel you glue on, and that AP is, listen, you see the funny bit is, this is a fake AP dial.
Well, surprise, surprise.
Gunna got scammed, and before you ask me, you mean Gunna got scammed? I know, really funny. Let's see what Nico had to say.
You know how you can see that as well? First of all, that dial was never produced by AP because of the diamonds like that, right? But you can also see that the date, the number 6, is really low on the dials because it's not made for each other. You see what I mean?
One thing to notice about each review we've listened to is that the biggest indicator is the little details. Either the chain is fake, the dials are wrongly placed, or the movement of the watch. But in any case, it's safe to assume that Gunna got scammed, or Young Thug got scammed and gave it to Gunna. By the way, if you knew it was fake, that would just make the whole thing even funnier.
Plain Rolex. I didn't pay for it, but I think they probably like 16,000. Your Thug gave me this.
Nah, mate. 16,000 for that. They just, watch is worth about 10 grand.
So while many of the rappers we've discussed in this video were unwilling and unaware of the victims that deserve sympathy, in the case of Kevin Gates, this is both hilarious and a bit of karmic and poetic justice, as the comedic rapper was once exposed for fake jewelry, which he actually acquired by some very devious and suspicious means. In a really hilarious and iconic video Kevin Gates himself posted, he admitted that his brother quote-unquote took some items from an NFL player, one of which was a luxury watch, which his brother promptly gifted to Kevin. Kevin was then shown the video mockingly laughing at the fact that the watch he was gifted was actually fake. As I've said, that's basically a beautiful case of karma for Kevin Gates for indirectly robbing somebody for their watch.
I remember my brother had robbed an NFL player. I'm talking about stripped him. You heard me? So I'm thinking the watch, and then he gave me the watch.
But randomly someone asked him where he got the watch from.
Then a nigga seen me in the club and asked me about the watch. Talking about where I got it, I ain't get it like that.
He really embodied the entire denial method.
But then he admitted it wasn't his.
Man, bro, that's really mine. It's really not. It's mine's not. You gotta go get it from the dude who f***ed over you. I'm talking about, man, I'm thinking it's real because he an NFL player.
He basically admitted in the video that he stole it from an NFL player, and then explained that he thought because he stole it from an NFL player it would be real, and he was embarrassed for getting exposed.
Man, that nigga had me all on the front cover of Fake Watch Buster, man. That had me on that a month straight. I was the poster boy for Fake Watch Buster. I'm thinking it's real though, cause it's an NFL. You got me.
But this is just normal Kevin Gates behavior, to be honest. So while the incident with Kevin Gates was downright hilarious, our next rapper on this list paid barely for his watch and got duped hard. That being Lil Durk, who despite the respect he's earned, just like every other rapper in the industry, turns out was not immune to getting scammed by the corrupt jewelry industry. So let's see what Nico Leonard had to say about Lil Durk's appearance on GQ like these other rappers. Here's Lil Durk flexing his AP.
I got it from Izzy the Jeweler. He based out of New York. 95,000.
I'm just gonna play the reaction.
I'm saying nothing, little donkey. I'm saying nothing, mate. 95 G's, mate. You know what the point is, right? And I've said this before. Either they're lying about the price they've paid, or they're getting absolutely f***ed from every angle and every hole without any or lube. That's painful, mate.
Some brutal review by Nico there.
A bit harsh in my opinion, but I think there are good intentions behind the critique.
But he basically said that Lil Durk was scammed and scammed bad. Not only that, Lil Durk also devalued his luxury watch by 50 grand by putting diamonds, but he was probably aware of that.
My first watch was Rolex. Lost that too.
How much do you think you lost in jewelry?
Tennis bracelet was like 17,000. And Thug ring was like 35,000. And the rollie I got, the first rollie I had got, it was probably like 20.
However, here's what Nico had to say.
You can also put like 50 grand on there for what you've lost in that f***ing AP. It's f***ing ridiculous, mate.
So yeah, Lil Durk was not safe whatsoever, but to be honest, it wasn't that bad. Just normal compared to others. But so far, we've just spoken about the actual rappers themselves. They're just the half of it. The other half are the people behind the goods, the jewelers, who are oftentimes the entire architect behind these scams.
Ben Baller has worked with rappers like Kanye West, Nas, and Tyler the Creator. However, despite being one of the most iconic celebrity jewelers in hip-hop, Ben Baller's name is shrouded in controversy. Someone who's been very outspoken in labeling Ben as a scam is none other than DJ Academics, who once went on stream to accuse Ben of being a scammer, adding that he wasn't the only one to fall victim to Ben Baller. He began by claiming that Ben Baller preys on African American men who are presumably uneducated financially for his own gain.
I would just continue to double down by saying Ben Baller is someone who's been just a pariah and a parasite of the culture, someone who feels entitled but also preys on black men who get advance checks to sell them fake jewelry overpriced.
Ack then breaks down his accusations by stating that not only is Ben overpricing for his labor for his custom pieces, but also that the dude lacks any kind of originality, which for the jewelry industry should be a distinctive trait for any jeweler, according to him at least.
His work, so to speak, overprice his work, basically offer a bunch of bull and brag about the that he creates like it's some masterpiece when all he's doing is copying the same designs for years and really not doing anything but that. So when I think about someone like Ben Baller is nothing but what I would say, or actually how Drake would describe him, a waste man.
Ack continues his tangent.
While you've preyed on the young black artists who've came up, you've overpriced jewelry by hundreds of thousands of dollars when they could have used that money to feed their family or done other things with it.
He then goes deeper on Ben, hinting that Ben Baller might have had some racial biases against African Americans, an extremely controversial take, especially in today's climate.
You've preyed only on rappers. You don't prey on nobody else. You're not over there trying to get the Wall Street. You only prey on African American rappers who just got a big advance check what they think is theirs.
So Ack explains that Ben wouldn't dare doing this to someone he knew better. Of course, many rappers don't, which led Ack to condemn Ben Baller as a thief.
Ben Baller is nothing but a scammer, a thief, a liar, someone who is just down to finesse them, and I'll keep using my voice and my platform to let that be known.
He ended his rant by explaining after scamming him, Ben messed up, because if there's one thing AK doesn't shy away from, it's controversy.
These jewelers are the biggest scammers, but you know what? There's a lot of people who scam in the hip hop, so I ain't gonna say nothing until you start talking about me. Once you start talking about me, I'll expose your scam.
But DJ Academics wasn't the only one to expose Ben Baller. Another person that did not hesitate to expose Ben is the famed YouTuber Arjack.
Last but not least, the biggest finesse in the jewelry game, custom pieces. Ben Baller, one of the most famous individuals known for f***ing individuals over with custom pieces.
Arjack then goes on to expose Ben Baller's hypocrisy and predatory behaviors on someone who Baller claims as a friend, the famed Tyler the Creator.
Took someone he called his friend, Tyler the Creator, and charged him an insane amount for this arguably whack piece of jewelry.
Alright, so this piece looks pretty cool, right? I want you to think of a number in your head and see if you got it right after Arjack's analysis. After condemning Ben Baller as a scammer, Arjack then meticulously dissected the entire production process and pricing behind Baller's custom piece made for his friend, Tyler the Creator. He began by counting the stones.
I roughly counted the amount of stones on this piece. Make it fair, call it even, 5,000 stones. Okay, these are probably 1.5 millimeter stones, so that's 66 diamonds per carat. Is that $260 a carat, which is what these 1.5 millimeter natural stones from India go for. That comes out to 19,000 that he spent on diamonds.
So Arjack explained that Tyler's custom-made Igor piece has 5,000 stones, and after quick math, should amount to about $19,000 on the piece's diamonds. Arjack then explained the next step of the process, setting the diamonds.
Next, you have to pay to set the diamonds. This is not free. I will admit that. So let's say you paid $2 per stone to set the diamonds. Let's also be a bit nicer to Ben Baller. The blue diamonds are more expensive. Let's add an extra 6,000 for that.
And there's even more nuance to it.
But also keep in mind, black and brown diamonds are way less expensive. So that definitely offset any more added price that would have been added from the blue diamonds. These are going for 180 a carat, all the way down to 80 a carat.
Breaking the Igor piece down further, Arjack explains that the supposed price for Ben's labor for setting the diamonds can be estimated to around $2 per stone, RJack was even generous to add $6,000 of value for the blue diamonds in the piece. So after all of that, RJack finally approximates how much Ben Baller took to make this piece of jewelry.
So let's say Ben should make 10,000 for this piece. As a jeweler myself who can make a piece like this, I'd do it happily. I'd make a piece like this happily for that price. So total, add all that up. If you weren't doing the math, it's okay, I did it for you. It's 55,000 that it cost Ben Baller to make this chain, and I'm aggressively overestimating.
Remember that number in your head? What was it? Well, if it was 55K, it's still wrong. Because Ben Baller charged a couple $100,000 on top of it to Tyler the Creator.
So why did he charge his homie $275,000 for this chain? What the f? I researched this video and found it out, and I still almost don't believe it. But let's see what Ben Baller had to say about why he aggressively overcharges people he calls friends.
Yup, he paid $275,000 for that. RJack estimated a total of $55,000 if he did the work. However, Ben charged $275K to his friend. That's a 400% overcharge, which most would say is a bit overpriced. However, Ben Baller himself has actually responded to the ridiculous upcharges on many of his jewelry. In an interview, he was asked whether or not jewelry was a scam. This was his response.
Jewelry is a scam inherently, right?
It depends.
Ben Baller explained he doesn't scam people.
It depends. No, what I do is not a scam. I do not scam people.
And that his jewelry is like any other luxury good, which will be taxed.
It's a luxury business. You could say that about Gucci. When you become a brand name, like a Gucci or like a Cartier, whatever, you kind of charge what you want.
And I'm not gonna lie, he's right in some regards. However, there's a difference between being able to charge for your brand and ripping someone off. That's something you as a viewer have to decide. Was that piece worth 55K or 275K? But Ben Baller has never scammed someone outright. Dimitri Hajiv, who was once one of hip-hop's top jewelers, can't say the same. Dimitri the Jeweler began taking over the rap game in the early 2010s, and as an ambitious immigrant, he became quite successful. Unfortunately, it wouldn't take long for to hit the fan. When in August of 2019, at the peak of his bling selling career, Dimitri's property was raided by the police, and he was taken to the FBI's facility in Philadelphia. Dimitri was then interrogated by the FBI for not only his involvement in selling replica Rolexes, but also because of his involvement in money laundering activities, much like what happened to another one of his colleagues we'll discuss later. But you see, Dimitri was in deep shit because he messed with the wrong people. So what did he even do? According to a press release of the case, since at least 2014, Dimitri operated a jewelry store on the 300 block of South Street in Philadelphia, out of which he sold and customized watches and other jewelry. In the interrogation room, Dimitri actually struck a deal with the feds about cooperating, but randomly changed his mind and asked for his lawyer. At that point, he was charged with trafficking and counterfeit goods and some financial fraud offenses, with the US Attorney's Office mentioning that Dimitri stole tons of money through structured deposits from his store sales to avoid activating his banks, reporting requirements, and failed to make required reports for cash sales of more than $10,000. Adding that, in total, the amount of money involved in the defendant's illegal scheme is more than $750,000. The US Attorney Romero even went on record to further implicate Dimitri's fake watches and criminal activities, stating that the defendant trafficked in counterfeit merchandise and structured deposits to conceal the cash flowing into his jewelry business. In other words, Dimitri allegedly took legit watches and put fake/aftermarket parts, diamonds, and overpriced these products. He then marketed them as customized. The feds themselves reported that they bought a watch from Dimitri for about $29,000, which happened to be fake, adding that they watched him deposit the money and found out that Dimitri made sure all the deposits were under $10,000, which was in violation of the Form 8300, meaning he was caught red-handed in 4K doing fraud. In fact, this case was so large that for around 3 years, the state of Philadelphia's case against Dimitri proceeded. All the while, judges established that Dimitri could be a flight risk, so he was not given bond and was forced to stay behind bars. Unfortunately for our guy Dimitri, on November 23rd, 2022, he was found guilty of trafficking counterfeit luxury goods and financial fraud offenses related to sale of replica watches. He's also facing years of imprisonment and deportation on sentence for his crimes, thus sealing Dimitri's fate and most likely putting an end to his career as Dimitri the Jeweler for a while. But you see, Dimitri was caught scamming others after hiding it. The next jeweler exposed himself and the entire industry on his own will. In fact, it's a part of his business, and that is Raheem the Jeweler. Raheem is indeed a mysterious figure in the jewelry scene, but what's interesting is that he seems to enjoy selling fake jewelry, scamming his clients, which I'm sure the others are too, but is also happy to let people know what goes on in the fake jewelry game. At first, Raheem didn't want to name his customers because they were high profile and it could mess with his business.
I've had a couple
customers that I really don't want to name for because it's gonna, you know, if it can mess with my bread.
But the interviewer was shocked by how much money there was to be made in selling outright fake jewelry.
So you telling me that this knockoff right here is $1 million business?
At this point, it seems like either rappers were aware that their shit was fake and that they were buying loads of diamonds, or they were unknowingly buying overpriced fake jewelry, which to me is alarming. However, Raheem would soon fold and expose one of his very high profile clients, Soulja Boy, who happened to be his biggest customer.
Yeah, a little bit more than that. I mean, I will say this. It's already out in the open. My biggest customer last year was Soulja Boy. He bought the presidential with the black face, with the white face. He got the yacht master encrusted. I got the bust down.
Of course, as a rapper, this is ridiculously embarrassing. So Soulja Boy took to Instagram to defend himself from the accusations of buying fake jewelry.
Everything over there real. They sell real ice in the mall. Clout chasing that. Stop playing with me.
But Raheem wouldn't just be interrogated by Wallow. Later on, Wallow's partner in crime, Gilly, would also interrogate Raheem playfully in a video released on social media. And although Gilly was saying everything in a joking manner, he was exposing some hard truths in the jewelry game. He began by making fun of Wallow, teasing him for allegedly buying fake jewelry.
I finally realized where all you rappers be getting your jewelry from. Wallow, I see you, man, in the lobby low. You mean Wallow pieces?
Raheem plays on with the joke, saying Wallow was a customer.
You know, Wallow, I was trying to leave the hotel.
Look at this. I see where all the rappers get it from. I see it. And you said this passed the diamond tester?
He then explains that his diamonds are lab diamonds.
Lab diamonds. Yeah, it passes all of them.
What this means is that Raheem sells lab diamonds, CVD diamonds, or Mozant diamonds, which easily passes cheap diamond testers. However, they're not really diamonds. Gilly then jokes, "Hey, so you're out here giving everyone jewelry, huh?"
So you just
you
servicing everybody, Raheem, huh?
Raheem explained that he was, and that's why he was in Las Vegas.
I just left this. I ain't gonna say who it was, but I did leave a private customer in Vegas. That's how I got to be here. So I stopped by real quick.
He wanted all that shit, huh?
We got a couple things. He down the way. I ain't gonna say who.
This time, he was smart and didn't reveal the identity of his client. But Raheem didn't just have cheap jewelry. He also had actual fake replica jewelry.
You even got fake.
Looking closer at Raheem's products, you can't blame these rappers and fans from buying into it, because, not gonna lie, they do look distinctively real. So Gilly was like, damn, they come from you?
I done seen niggas with these pieces, man.
Came from me.
Came from you.
Dang.
Yes, it's fake it till you make it.
And Raheem joked,
Or save your money.
ironically, by being honest about the fake jewelry industry, Raheem has the highest standards out of all these jewelers. Speaking of high standards, another hip-hop jeweler whose name has been associated with controversies and scams is Elliot Avianne, better known as Eliante, jeweler to the Migos, Young Thug, and responsible for Lil Uzi Vert's 24 million forehead diamond. But the celebrity jeweler status didn't exactly vindicate Eliante, because you see, in December of 2020, Eliante was exposed on Sauce Waka's Instagram rant, where he claimed that the famous jeweler was essentially selling CVD diamonds. Lab-grown diamonds, which I've explained earlier, are considered fake. On his rant, he implicated Eliante's CVD selling, allegedly.
Oh no, you did not jump in my motherfucking diamond business. Eliante, you motherfucking hot BB diamond scamming motherfucking artist. That's why the rest of them jewelers be on your carbon vaccinated CVD diamond selling that.
By the way, the reason why Sauce went off on Eliante allegedly was because Eliante disrespected his drip in a now deleted Instagram DM. But Sauce Waka wasn't done. He would then shout out various artists which he claims have stopped messing with Eliante.
First of all, let's just make this clear. See, I with Takeoff, I with Quavo and the Migos. I got a relationship with them. They're like my brother.
He then explained that Eliante was stealing his jewelry style and selling it to others.
Boy, you been on my DM on my stealing my jewelry style for 4 years. Eliante, don't you play these games?
And explains that by now everyone had caught up to Eliante selling fake diamonds, and rappers were no longer buying from him.
We want to know why Uzi don't fuck with you, and Lil Baby don't fuck with you. All these rappers that got jewelry made for you, they didn't buy it because your diamonds is fake. As soon as they go to another jeweler, they put it in that machine, that X-ray machine, they show you these are CVD diamonds, carbon vaccinated diamonds.
Eliante himself never addressed Sauce's rants after this incident. However, he is still a very respected jeweler in the game, and very much associated with hip-hop. One of the most prominent jewelers in hip hop history is someone who has far eclipsed hip hop, that being Jacob the Jeweler, who before becoming the world renowned jeweler he is today, was actually infamous for working with some of the biggest names in hip hop history, such as Usher, P. Diddy, Pharrell Williams, Jay-Z, 50 Cent, Drizzy, and the notorious B.I.G., the last of which was responsible for Jacob's gaining fame in hip hop, even being the one giving him the moniker of Jacob the Jeweler. He was even name dropped in some of rap's most iconic songs, like Kanye West's Touch the Sky, I Wanted Jacob, An Hour After I Got My Advance, I Just Wanted to Shine. However, behind the luxurious facade, Jacob & Co. has been involved in some of the biggest scandals any jeweler has ever been implicated in history. And it goes all the way back to 2006. That year, Jacob was charged with conspiring to launder about $270 million in profits from illegal substances for the Detroit-based quote-unquote hip-hop promoters Sans crime ring Black Mafia family. And that was just the tip of the iceberg. In the criminal case filed on March 29, 2007 by the US District Court, Eastern District of Michigan against Jacob, the background of the case mentioned that the US government alleges that Terry Lee Flannery and Demetrius Flannery headed a distribution organization headquartered in Detroit, Michigan, and known as the Black Mafia family, BMF. But where did the renowned jeweler Jacob the Jeweler fit in? Well, the government established that the redacted indictment alleges that Jacob Arbov facilitated the Flannerys in laundering their drug sale proceeds by selling to them and to their nominees jewelry for cash. This basically meant that Jacob had been caught assisting the BMF with their money laundering by allowing them to use his jewelry company as the venue for said illegal activity. The official report added that Jacob was caught failing to file or filing inaccurate IRS 8300 forms memorializing the transactions and not identifying the Flannerys as the actual persons on whose behalf the purchases were made, meaning that the jeweler knowingly and purposely took part in the BMF's operations, even refraining from disclosing the Flannerys' involvement in the act. For clarity, the 8300 form is a required form by the IRS for any cash transactions over $10,000 in the United States. But it's not just Jacob the Jeweler that many believe is a scam. Some fans claim that Jacob's jewelry and the Jacob brand itself is a huge scam dedicated to conning artists, influencers, and personalities who are prone to indulgence. I'm actually pretty convinced it's money laundering like art, but Jacob would never do that, lol. What this all means is that anyone with actual awareness and some financial responsibility can identify how much of a con this entire jewelry industry is, and that Jacob is among these perpetrators that try to play the uninformed hip-hop artist. Someone who would go from a happy customer to an alleged victim of Jacob's jewelry seductions is the West Coast rapper The Game, who spoke about how he wished he could get his money back after buying jewelry from him.
I can't believe who got the most money that I wish I could get back? Jacob the Jeweler, man. I spent over almost $1 million with Jacob over the years.
$1 million on jewelry is pretty ridiculous, but normal for rappers. And just one example of how The Game ironically got played by Jacob. The Game even mentions how necessary it was for them to wear Jacobs, which is a masterclass on branding.
Elliot and Jeweler. Yeah, just for homies' chains, all the Black Wall Street chains, my chains, watches, them Jacob watches, them shit was crazy though, man. Them shit was like, you needed them.
Implying that wearing the iconic 5 time zone watch, by the way, costs anywhere from 5.5K to 1 million, is a huge deal to these rappers, or back then at least. This eventually would lead to The Game going broke, and jewelers like Jacob becoming filthy rich.
I'm broke. You're broke. Yeah, I don't have a dime.
But Jacob is no longer remotely associated with hip hop. He is now one of the most renowned jewelers in the game and owns one of the most coveted watch/jewelry companies in the world. However, rappers still love to flex, and there are plenty of jewelers allegedly scamming rappers, even in today's age. The most famous being the one and only Johnny Dang, currently one of the most famous jewelers within hip-hop. However, despite praises and shoutouts by many rappers, Johnny was once exposed by a former employee for selling fake jewelry to his uninformed rapper clients. According to him, Johnny knowingly sells fake jewelry to clients he believes are unsuspecting.
Everybody who's watching, if you got anything from Johnny, check that because that boy be putting that CBD in y'all shit. And I've had several clients who come in and they'll be like, bro, why my shit get tested CBD? Well, I don't fucking know. Y'all gotta ask Johnny, bro. That's Johnny's that's Johnny's production.
Ironically, Johnny himself was exposed for selling fake jewelry by a man who makes fake jewelry sellers and wears knees tremble with fear, Fake Watch Busta. In a Facebook post from 2014, Fake Watch Busta exposed that Johnny was consistently overpricing fake watches, posting, TV Johnny is still selling fake watches straight from his website. Just peep this $27,500 fake Audemars baguette Royal Oak Offshore monstrosity. Fake Watch Buster explained his accusations by stating that, first of all, it has 267 subdials, and second of all, the subdials are spaced equally. Look at the original. They should be closer together at 12 and 9 compared to 9 and 6. The date window with the Cyclops is also terrible. This is pure garbage at 27,500. Hashtag busted. But Johnny wearing fake jewelry just means he's smart, if I'm being honest. However, when it comes to jewelry, Johnny Dang is as legit as it gets. His reputation is mostly spotless, and he's even credited with helping start trends such as eccentric grills, which he was at the forefront of course, and it seems like that employee was just mad. But jewelry isn't the only scam in rap. You see, in the case of jewelry, it's the rappers themselves being scammed. However, there's also another scam that has leached into the rap game and has most likely taken hundreds of thousands, even millions of dollars from hip-hop fans themselves. And what I'm talking about is crypto scams. Crypto is a complex yet lucrative concept for those who can afford to actually take risks and invest in them. However, many rappers' fans don't understand how crypto actually works, and that's where the scams come in. The worst part is that their victims are their fans and followers. But how does this happen? Who are the rappers behind it? And what was the aftermath?
Even the 6ix9ine, who's like biggest rapper, well, not the biggest rapper, he's a huge name. He puts out a blatant scam crypto thing.
We're starting off hot, as unsurprisingly, 6ix9ine has yet again made this list of disturbing rap scams. So what exactly did he do this time? Well, 6ix9ine ventured into the NFT game with this Trollz NFT, which ironically was a troll on his fans, while also being the name of one of his songs.
Priced at $400 per token, Tekashi 6ix9ine's Trollz project was unveiled to the world with big ambitions of disrupting the internet and even producing a game that was based off its digital artwork.
Now, the premise behind the Trollz NFT was that the project was backed up by Tekashi 6ix9ine and was also promoted to donate $20,000 to 5 unnamed different charities upon selling out. How noble of him.
But within 2 months of its October launch, it was revealed to be an exercise in grifting his fan base to the tune of over 4 million in sales, leaving those who purchased the tokens high and dry.
The team behind the NFT mentioned that the Trollz NFT collection is a fan-based project, made to interact with 6ix9ine's fans and supporters, but also give long-term value to holders. 6ix9ine must be a really great guy.
Yo, what's up, y'all? Yo, thank you so much for supporting the Trollz NFT. Thank y'all, I love y'all. Taking it to the moon.
And Tekashi's association with the project would prove effective, as a day before the launch of the Trollz NFT, at the end of October, the project had amassed 80,000 members for its Trollz NFT community. Now, the team was selling the 9,669 tokens at around $400 a pop, which meant that Trollz stood to make around $4 million. Quite a lot of money. Now, at this point, let me introduce to you Jacob, one of the Trollz NFT's biggest buyers, and someone who becomes very pivotal towards the end of the story. Large buyers like Jacob in crypto are often referred to as whales. By the way, I don't know who in their right mind would think that buying a large amount of 6ix9ine's NFT project will make them rich. However, at this time, everything seemed fine and dandy. The project promised that upon minting an avatar, the NFT holder was supposed to get royalty rights. Every time Trollz tokens trade hands, 5% of those transactions should go to the original owners. But as we can assume now, all was not fine and dandy for the Trollz NFT show. A few days into the event, the team behind the project stopped producing more NFTs. The project never sold out, and that's because the organizers suddenly decided to stop minting more NFTs, meaning that the 9,669 tokens that had originally been promised would not be reached. When people like Jacob became a minter, the Trollz team was still telling people that there would eventually be 9,669 NFTs. So, to save themselves, the team stated that there were hackers who hijacked the launch. A few minutes prior to our launch, we were attacked and scammers hijacked our server and sent a fake website ending in .com to all channels. A moderator named Trollz wrote in a still public post. But apparently the hack too was a lie, as according to screenshots of since deleted Discord messages by a moderator called Vamp, the hack itself was an inside job, which the mods did to throw buyers off the trail. As Vamp stated, they basically took over a bot and tried to ruin the project, which is a horrible look. Your own mod is exposing you for botching your project and scamming others. But anyways, it seemed like no good news was coming out of the ordeal, as the team apparently stopped minting. Jacob, one of the largest buyers, stated that the number was changed to 6,969 on launch day, October 28th, just about a week into the project's existence online. 2 days later, with 4,797 NFTs out in the world, the ability to mint vanished. Other buyers also spoke out on the incident, such as a user named Sama, who admitted to buying the project based simply on the number of Trollz NFT members. And this would reveal more shocking details. Sama, like the others, says he based his initial assessment of the project's potential on how many members were in the Trollz Discord server. But even those numbers may have been manipulated.
There were about 80,000 members when Sama joined, and there are now more than 100,000. And supposedly, at the time, there were only 9,000 NFTs being made. So if you had 80,000 people interested in that, you would think it's something you should buy into, as you know, scarcity and all that. However, that would all be a lie, because soon one of the members of the Trollz NFT Discord group did a member scrape, meaning they eliminated all bots and possible dual accounts, and it resulted in only 7,000 real members. We did a member scrape on the Discord server and only came back with 7,000. That's almost a 95% decrease. And while all this was going down, Tekashi was slowly and silently moving away from the project to get his hands clean to avoid getting associated with the eventual rug pull. By the way, for future reference, a rug pull is a scam promotion of a blockchain asset, a crypto token, via social media, meaning after the price of a token has been driven up, the people behind the project sell their stock and the price generally falls to zero. And we'll be using this term a lot. So what did he do? Well, 6ix9ine started by changing his Instagram profile picture from the Trollz NFT cartoon avatar to a simple picture of himself. Keep in mind, NFTs are practically useless. Sorry to everyone very into them. Just by themselves, so the members having them as their profile pictures is a large part of their utility. I know, kinda sad, but it's a flex for them. And I understand that may sound sad to you, but you see, his fans weren't having it, and he started to receive quite a bit of hate. So in response, 6ix9ine released an apology video, or at least that's what it was supposed to be. And there's a really hilarious plot twist. Tekashi starts off the video with a really sincere apology for his fans who got duped by the Trollz NFT.
I know a lot of you guys are wondering what happened with 6ix9ine's last NFT project. I want to first start off by saying I apologize. I apologize because I jumped in to the NFT community without knowing what an NFT was.
Afterwards, 6ix9ine subtly confessed to scamming his fans, but pay attention to how he worded it as taking advantage.
It was a paid partnership that I took advantage of, and I said, you know what, let me get into something that I don't know that much about.
In an interview with Rolling Stone, Jacob, that buyer I was speaking about, tells everyone it turned out to be a huge scam. Now, based on 6ix9ine's heartfelt apology, what seemed to have happened was that the rapper probably got paid a ton of money to let the NFT project developers use his name to promote and hype up the project, possibly luring innocent fans. But as I've said, there's a really good plot twist to the video. Now, you'd think after getting exposed for scamming people, 6ix9ine would know a thing or two about remorse, but we're talking about 6ix9ine here. So after scamming his biggest fans, because remember, only your biggest fans and most gullible of course would buy into something like this, 6ix9ine thought, you know what, that wasn't too bad, let's run it back. Because right after he apologized for the Trollz NFT, the fact he decided to launch another NFT project, this time called Guy.
So to all my fans who joined that, I extremely apologize for that being done. What makes this so different, what makes Gene NFT collection so different is that it's not a paid partnership. This is my brand, 6ix9ine News label, 6ix9ine News brand.
And honestly, he probably did this because he faced no consequences for the previous project, for what he did previously. However, so far 6ix9ine's Guy NFT collection has yet to show any signs of being a con, but since it's 6ix9ine, only time will tell. However, I like to mention it because I just have a feeling things are gonna go wrong. However, this is 6ix9ine we're talking about, so we can't really be that surprised. But there are many rappers who fans were very surprised when they decided to start promoting these crypto projects. One of them being Lil Uzi Vert, as his reputation is extremely positive. However, just like 6ix9ine, Lil Uzi Vert might have possibly promoted an NFT project which he may have not known was actually a scam. So what exactly did he do? When Uzi's second LP, Eternal Take, released to mostly positive acclaim from the hip-hop community, it made him very hot, which garnered a ton of attention from the ever-predatory NFT developers community. And this is how the NFT project called Eternal Beings was born. And something I'd like you to notice about these NFT projects that are attached to big names is that these projects are titled in a way that associates deeply with the artist, like 6ix9ine's Trollz NFT, which references the artist's hit song of the same name, and Eternal Beings being a clear reference to Uzi's Eternal Take album. This tactic is done by NFT developers to better sell the project to fans who are investors, but also to discreetly implicate the artist. So in September of 2021, Eternal Beings was launched, a collection of 11,101 generative alien NFT avatars who all look like Uzi in some way in terms of their hair, tattoos, and his fashion sense. NFTs were minted at a price of 2.5 Solana, SOL, worth roughly $337 during the early weeks of its release. At first, the project seemed extremely promising for investors and Uzi fans, or Plutonians, based on the project roadmap laid out by the developers that looked beneficial for everyone involved. According to the now 404 Eternal Beings website,
that just means it no longer exists. The project's roadmap laid out several hopeful benefits for fans and investors of the project, even promising an exclusive Uzi concert with special rewards. At 10% completed sales of the collection, there will be a rollout of marketing strategies that include celebrity endorsements. At 20% completed sales of the collection, the roadmap states that there will be a Lil Uzi performance that will be exclusive for the Eternal Being holders, with rewards such as backstage passes for lucky members. Remember, this was all part of the plan to sell the fans on the NFT project. The roadmap would go on to sell the project by guaranteeing Eternal Beings related merch. At 50% completed sales, the roadmap states that there will be an exclusive Eternal Beings merchandise provided solely to holders. The team behind Eternal Beings would then go on to promise more enticing exclusives such as charity donations and eventually more NFTs, which would sound extremely profitable for the investors. Lil Uzi Vert even unknowingly implicated himself via Twitter for promoting the NFT project. Tomorrow, 8 PM EST, Eternal Beings began 6+ SOL minimum floor easily. And although this tweet may seem harmless, it basically means that Lil Uzi promised the project's guaranteed success, which is possibly in violation of the Security Act of 1933. Depending on whether Uzi received money to make that tweet, and if he also knew that the project he was promoting was a scam, not only could he receive serious legal implications, but he could also be ordered to pay a hefty fine. And it didn't take long for investors to find out, because soon Uzi deleted all of his tweets related to the Eternal Beings NFT project. Obviously, this move caused 44,000 investors on the project's Discord to panic and question the NFT's legitimacy. Discord mods were quick to conduct damage control to calm the investors down by saying Uzi was just taking away from this till his album was done. By the way, this is like telling your girl to calm down, a rookie mistake by the team. So at this point in the story, all hell had broken loose, as after the NFT sold out, Lil Uzi Vert, quote-unquote inspiration behind the project and one of its main promoters, suddenly deleted all of his posts to distance himself from the project, which means Uzi did the classic rug pull. That's crypto jargon for scam, by the way, which I just explained. So he scammed them. And following Lil Uzi's supposed rug pull and complete distancing from the Eternal Beings project, the floor price for it dropped sharply at 0.1. Keep in mind that's worth around $10 as of this date. And below the 2.5 SOL or $325 mint price. In other words, the NFTs were now worthless. Despite moderators in the project's Discord assuring members that Lil Uzi is still 100% taking part in the project, they began suggesting that his tweets were nothing more than a quick paid promotion. In other words, they were lying. So now your main guy, Lil Uzi, has completely gotten rid of himself off the project and 44,000 investors are panicking. So what's gonna happen to them? Well, here's how the team handled it. If you were a member of the NFT team behind the Eternal Beings project, what would you do? Now, I'm not an expert on public relations, but I'm pretty sure you shouldn't call your concerned investors a bunch of
Yeah, that was a lot of censors, but you get the point.
And it might also not be a good idea to call their actions stupidity, but that was exactly what one mod named Eternal B2222 did. And while his/her intention for the message was to calm everyone down, it obviously had the opposite reaction. The moderator would try to recover by apologizing for the obvious lack of professionalism and lapse in judgment, and double down on the supposed potential of the project. But the apparent rug pull from Uzi, the multiple Eternal Beings social media account suspensions, and the website going 404, the investors were getting the gist that the entire thing was nothing but a scam. And it's now a well-known scam. However, Uzi was far from the only one.
This is how these NFT projects can become something valuable, something tangible an influencer can offer that would warrant holding your position for the long term. Unfortunately, Lil Uzi and other influencers delete their tweets and never mention the project again, leaving everyone holding the bag for a project that has no more support.
This next artist was actually a classmate of Lil Uzi Vert on the legendary XXL freshman cypher of 2016, that being Lil Yachty. And to set the scene, let's discuss how this all began. It's November of 2020, and Lil Yachty just made waves in the crypto/rap world when he announced via Twitter that he was releasing his own crypto coin called Yachty Coin, even hilariously tweeting that his lawyer made him disclose that he was getting paid. For all my fans outside the US, I partnered with @Fuse.io to make history. My lawyer is making me disclose that I'm being paid. If you want to buy access to me, #Yachty Coin is coming soon, only on the Fuse app.
Wow, so real.
Mind you, this was during the pandemic, so it wasn't surprising with the lack of show money. Like many other artists, he was trying to get some money. A YouTuber by the name of Jamari, and almost immediately he was getting called out for it.
So this guy needs a quick buck is what I'm trying to say.
Long story short, Yachty's crypto coin was developed in partnership with Fuse, a Swiss-based crypto platform aiming to innovate the live digital entertainment industry. Yachty's crypto token, aptly named Yachty Coin or
Yachty was basically an Ethereum-based coin which valued at $15 when it released and raised around $375,000 in total, which is quite a bit of money, maybe not for Yachty. Yachty also released Yachty Coin NFT, which sold at around $16,050 in December of 2020. So far it was going pretty good. They made money and Yachty was still associated with the project. But where this all went bad was after it sold out. And might I add, around a quick 21 minutes and 41 seconds. So after the sale, the page was gone. So what did the fans think? Well, they immediately realized that something had went terribly wrong. You see, the crypto coin was fans trying to invest and bet on whether Lil Yachty's career would boom or not, which looking back isn't what a crypto investment should be.
So here I am on the FIU's page. They're still advertising Lil Yachty times FIU's, despite the fact that this Yachty coin has already lost all of its value. As they were selling this, it was pretty much like you were betting on Lil Yachty's career, and if Lil Yachty kept accelerating and had like some hit songs and stuff.
Funnily enough, Lil Yachty would later find himself suing an NFT company for using his image for profit, which is ironically what he had done himself. However, the Yachty coin fiasco was swept under the rug for the most part. So I guess 2 years later, Yachty thought, why not run it back? And that's how Rap Doge was born. Rap Doge was a crypto coin that was advertised as the first deflationary meme token fully supported by celebrities and rappers. The coin was infamously endorsed by Yachty himself, with the rapper even once tweeting that he was the one who created the coin, which wouldn't age very well. But it wasn't just Yachty who backed the crypto project. Other artists like Soulja Boy, Quavo, and Davido were a part of it as well. By doing this, Rap Doge's founder positioned it to be the next big meme coin, the quote-unquote Dogecoin killer. And it worked. Due to the hype surrounding Rap Doge and how many notable artists backed the coin, tons of followers took the bait and invested. So what went wrong? Well, there were many things. For starters, the now defunct website for Rap Doge had some pretty hilarious and questionable features.
Either way, this website is total horseshit. It says celebrity endorsements. All they got is Lil Yachty's tweet from this morning and Davido.
In addition, the project's goal statement was also a red flag, as it was way too convoluted to work, as they were trying to do everything but work on the actual coin's value.
And it's just so cringy to look at their goal statement.
Rap Doge is a revolutionary meme cryptocurrency. It's a play on Dogecoin. But as the community grows, we will invest into the coin, launching an application with features including video streaming, uploading music, uploading beats. The possibilities are endless.
Yeah, it sounds like you're trying to combine every single social media into one thing, and that's definitely not going to work.
But this was just the tip of the iceberg. Soon, a more in-depth exploration on the scheme was done by another YouTuber named Some Ordinary Gamers. He did a real deep dive, looking at how much money was lost. Everybody buy $20, $100, or $1,000 worth and hold Rap Doge. Be ready to make money.
Boy, how much money did they make? Well, let's go look at it real quickly.
He then explored another rapper, Davido, who was also involved in the scam. He then points to Rap Doge's volume chart from its release to its sale and eventually downfall to prove that it really was a pump and dump scheme.
So this is going to the moon on July 19th, by the way, the same day these hip-hop artists start tweeting this out. Bam, it drops to nothing.
But to better understand this graph, we have to hone in on the specific week where the entire pump and dump actually happened. And let me tell you, despite knowing the basic surface level info about crypto and trading, his simple explanation here actually enlightened me. And I'm sure you guys will be as well.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are looking in the last 7 days, a 57.1% drop to the bottom of the ocean, okay? This is not a good deal. Look at all that volume traded, and look at how fast this coin got absolutely dumped to the market.
Another funny thing that he points out is the fact that Yachty and others tried to finesse their investors by deleting their tweets and reminding them that the screenshots do exist.
Now this fat Indian dude named Mudahar said amazing financial advice, saving this for later, which comes from twitter.com/Lil Yachty. And if you can look close, this tweet was deleted by the tweet author.
Amazing financial advice, saving this for later, which comes from twitter.com/Lil Yachty. Another thing they did frequently was spew technical terms to pretend like they knew what they were talking about to further exploit their fans' trust.
If you go down his tweet list, which these are mostly deleted, Rap Doge is a new safe opportunity for crypto buyers. Come chat with us. Locked liquidity. These people throw around buzzwords like no tomorrow.
Now, it would be a bit hypocritical of me to call out these rappers for using buzzwords without explaining what these words mean, since this video isn't simply an expose, but also a way to help people be informed and not get scammed themselves. So what that means is that if they're $10 million, for example, a large portion is locked, let's say 50 or 60%, meaning that if there's a large holder like one of these rappers, even if they sell, the entire project can't crash. Of course, that couldn't be further from the truth. But there's a lot more. Some ordinary gamer, he even pointed out the fact that the rappers who promoted it were blatantly coordinating the entire thing together.
These tweets were on the 19th of July. Kind of coordinated if you ask me.
The cherry on top is that the man who created Dogecoin, which the coin Rap Doge is based upon, Billy Marcus, denounced the entire Rap Doge movement as a scam, implying that anyone involved in the project is a dumb person. In a tweet, the former Dogecoin co-creator denounced Lil Yachty and Soulja Boy's promotion of Rap Doge, stating that every single person involved in the scam is either very stupid or a very terrible human being.
Now, if that isn't crazy, I don't know what is.
When you've got the actual co-founder of the coin which your coin is based upon telling you and everyone who invested that the project is a scam, then that's pretty damning evidence. By the way, the coin was worth zero at this point, literally nothing, so everyone had lost all their money.
May I take you back to the chart? It is already dumped. It is already worth nothing. You see how it's registering the prices all zeros?
However, this should have been obvious as the account had just stopped tweeting.
Right? Now, if you go all the way back to July 19th, chart is healthy. Where did they tweet it? No, they just stopped tweeting on the 19th.
Literally, right after the endorsement, they just dipped.
Holy, they stopped tweeting after the 19th. After the influencer promotions, they just stopped tweeting. The account stopped. It's dead. It's gone. The account isn't here. It's over.
But the probing didn't end there. He then went deeper, opening in investors' wallets, transactions for Rap Doge.
Let's open up OXAFF473's wallet. You can actually see they bought Rap Doge 7/19/2020 So if you're keeping track, that's July 19th. That's a couple days ago. That's actually 4 days and 8 hours ago.
Then he went over the transaction dates, as it's a prime indication of whether an investment might actually be fruitful or not.
So this person bought around the time these influencers started promoting it. So let's go open up this transaction. Let's see how much they bought, okay? So they ended up swapping 100 USDC, so a stable coin. They ended up trading $100 for Rap Doge, right?
And it's at this point in his explanation that he ties the project to the dumping part, explaining when and where the project lost all value.
Now, after this, they bought it. They then dumped it like 4 hours ago, right? From when I'm recording this video. How much do you think they actually lost?
Meaning, after the investors bought, the rappers and founders of the project sold for a nice profit. So before continuing the explanation, let me ask you, how much do you think that specific investor we just spoke about lost in a simple Rap Doge buy? If your guess is around $20, then you're off around $60, as the investor tried to recoup his buy by trading, where he lost another $70.
And if you look at it real carefully, they actually sold it to the Uniswap and they got $27. $27 in wrapped ether. They lost like 70 to 80 dollars on this goddamn token. This person lost their money.
So this guy lost 80% of his investment. That might seem insignificant compared to the total sum of the entire project, but you're forgetting that the Rap Doge project had around 1,700 holders and around 8,800 transactions. So imagine how much money was lost.
Now, that's if you multiply that by the amount of bag holders, you can imagine that people jumped in on this token and they lost their money over time. Because guess what? It got dumped. It has all the symptomologies of a pump and dump. This is just one person that lost their money. Imagine everyone else.
And I just had to include this tweet, by the way, because Yachty really sold the scam. We will not give up on you, Doge. So all of this left Lil Yachty to become the center of scrutiny as fans started to call him out for the supposed pump and dump all over the internet. One person said, "Yachty, you're already rich. You don't need to be scamming your fans, bro. Good job promoting a scam to your audience. We love it when the people we like abuse our trust and cause us to lose thousands of dollars." But you see, remember when I told you Yachty was caught red-handed, that he created the Rap Doge crypto coin? Well, Lil Yachty did receive some consequences in another pump and dump scheme when he became part of the criminal case charged by the US Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, for crypto violations. You see, Yachty, alongside other celebrities and influencers such as Akon, Soulja Boy, and Neo, three names which we will be talking about in another scam video, were all complicit in promoting Justin Sun's alleged fraud scheme for Tronix and BitTorrent, when they faced charges for failing to disclose that the scheme they promoted was a paid promotion. In fact, it was reported that these artists, with the exception of Austin Mahomes and Soulja Boy, more on him later, would pay more than $400,000 for their crimes.
Basically, they paid this money for there not to be an investigation to further find legal issues beyond just not disclosing what they made off of these promotions.
But in any case, even though Rap Doge investors never really got the justice they deserved, Yachty did get in enough trouble to where he probably won't involve himself in something like this again. Of course, he got away with it plenty though. But you see, Yachty wasn't the only one who was caught for the awful scam that was Rap Doge, because as I highlighted, Soulja Boy was just as deep as Yachty in the scam, even tweeting, "Let's pump Rap Doge to a certain figure and let's get all our friends in on this. Are you with me, Lil Yachty?" However, the thing about Soulja Boy is that if I just mentioned Rap Doge, it would be like me just playing one song off an entire album. How about we play a guessing game? How many crypto scams, projects, has Soulja Boy been involved in? If you guess 10, then you're absolutely wrong and off the mark by a long shot. Based on an in-depth investigation by a so-called internet sleuth, a fancy word for investigator/detective, Zach XBT, Soulja Boy was involved in 73 promotions and 16 NFT drops promoted by him since 2021, and many of them, pretty much all of them, were scams. Now, while others on this crypto scam list need a bit more of an introduction and setup, I'm gonna have to go on a lightning round on this one because man, it's lengthy and I really don't want to make a 24-hour video. So I'm just gonna go over the 8 most prominent scams briefly so you get a clear idea, but I also don't waste your time. So let's start with the first scam Mr. Crank That has been called out for, called SafeMoon, which Soulja Boy and many other celebrities, including Lil Yachty, were involved in. This would get so popular that the YouTuber CoffeeZilla would do an entire breakdown to explain how SafeMoon investors got duped. First, he established why SafeMoon was such an attractive investment, and why although many known scam artists were involved, fans had almost no problem investing in it.
Basically, SafeMoon was safe. That's what we were all told. How? Well, because of the liquidity pool, which is a pool of funds supporting the price of the project.
Coffee then continued his explanation on why SafeMoon was supposed to be safe.
It was supposed to be locked up, untouchable for 4 years on PancakeSwap. Hence, we're gonna go safely to the moon. The SafeMoon team touched things a little too early and got insanely rich by doing it and got away with it for far too long.
Now this is where Coffee reveals why SafeMoon, which Soulja Boy was clearly a part of, was actually a slow but rare rug pull.
Contrary to what had been pitched to us, the project owners had access to these tokens, the liquidity pool, this entire time, and could sell them at any time, and did sell them.
So of course, Soulja Boy would get implicated in a lawsuit, which emphasized that the rappers knew or should have known that the liquidity pools were designed in a way that allowed for the possibility of the liquidity pool being drained by defendants, meaning each and every promoter involved in the scam was now legally responsible for their actions. Nice. This was all strengthened by a new SEC ruling that solicitation has long occurred through mass communications, and online videos are merely a new way of doing an old thing. What this basically means is that the rappers we've discussed and other artists cannot ever make the excuse of, "I just tweeted the crypto to my fans. I didn't really do any personal promotion," you know? Ooh, XD, crying emoji, you know? Since their social media promotions are now considered solicitation. In other words, they'll now be held responsible. So on that tangent, it's safe to say that some of these crypto projects that Soulja Boy promoted may get him into some real trouble. Next in the series of Soulja scams is one that you've already heard of in this video, the Rap Doge pump and dump. Basically, on July 19th of 2021, Soulja Boy tweeted and promoted Rap Doge, encouraging people to pump the price, and you all know how that one turned out. Another one of Soulja Boy's scams was the Orion and Life token. Now, this one was just as bad since these two projects actually used cancer and, I can't say this word, prevention, charities as a front to pump their prices and scam their investors. For Orion, Soulja was caught tweeting on some real shit. Everyone needs to go check out @Orion_DeFi and make a difference. All donations go to cancer research. And well, look at the charts. Basically, Orion rug pulled its investors who were trying to make a difference in the world within a month, which is one of the most messed up scams in this section. In the case of the Life token, the next project, my bad, Soulja Boy was hilariously caught tweeting this: "Tired of meme plays, been looking for something real, found out about the Life token. They are small, yet they donated over $20,000 to," can't say that word, prevention charities. This shit is a real gem. I aped it. Lo and behold, the Life token project was completely abandoned in early 2022. I mean, the jokes write themselves. So that's just 4 projects, and we still have a couple more coins to go through. Next on our Soulja scam series is the rapper's infamous promotion of the scam that was Safer Mars, not to be confused with SafeMoon.
This one was admittedly a sloppy job by Soulja, as he accidentally left the compensation details in his promotional tweet. They raise in 240k. If they raise it after you tweet, you will get 24k. Come on, bro. At least know how to scam right. As you can expect, Safer Mars was not at all quote-unquote safer, as the project was rug pulled shortly after, and the promotional page along with Soulja's tweets were all deleted soon after. Anyways, next to be discussed is Soulja's promotion of Flockonomics. In October of 2021, Soulja Boy tweeted about Flockonomics, a scam parading as a Dogecoin knockoff that paid for media features. The rapper even shouted out Elon Musk, as the coin falsely claimed to be created by the ex-owner and frequent crypto investor. Surprise, surprise, the project's Twitter and website were eventually deleted. Another crypto project in which Soulja Boy was also involved in was Parrots DAO, which was in the promotion department. The crypto project, with its coin named PAR, rug pulled within 24 hours of Soulja's tweet. Nice. And of course, Soulja deleted all evidence of his involvement. But crypto wasn't all. Aside from promoting scam projects, Soulja Boy has released various NFT collections. In 2021, he created 9 different NFT projects. Among these NFT collections was his Soulja Boy NFT, which he advertised as a utility token. However, according to Zach XBT, that token has gone to waste and is now just an offline website. And as if the fans hadn't learned their lesson yet, in April of 2023, Soulja Boy yet again dropped 7 more NFTs. The collection includes a 3D NFT featuring Ferrari and Nike logos, which of course was removed from OpenSea for infringement of intellectual property. OpenSea is the most popular marketplace for NFTs, and while there are investors who have complained and were posed to pursue legal action against Soulja Boy since he didn't reimburse buyers, nothing really happened.
What's funny, and of course also messed up, is Soulja Boy hasn't stopped.
Despite the public uproar and getting called out by investors and critics, he continues to create more NFTs, disregarding his previous customers. Zach XBT also found out that Soulja Boy, the shameless promoter, in total made around $730,000, and those were just his crypto scams. So imagine the NFT money. Zach XBT even tweeted that it's abundantly clear that Soulja Boy will do anything to make money, regardless of whether or not it hurts his fans. I suspect there are more examples than what I found, but Soulja Boy is not alone. In fact, it has been years since Soulja Boy has been relevant, and he's been pulling stuff like this for money for a while. So to many of you guys, I'm sure this type of behavior is no surprise. What is surprising is when massive, bona fide mainstream artists resort to these types of scams. So who are these massive artists involved in these scams? Well, one of them is Post Malone, in which he collaborated with Fuse. As we've discussed in our previous segments, Fuse is a crypto platform that partnered with notable artists such as Lil Yachty, but also artists like Post Malone. But what was different and special about this one is that it was a tie-in for Post Malone's World Pong League, a beer pong tournament started by him.
Here's how it worked.
Fans were told to hold 50 of their own cryptocurrency, Fizz NFT. In exchange, they'd get a chance to attend one of the shoots for the show and hang out with Post Malone himself. Wow, pretty cool. However, a YouTuber named Jamari, in his expose, he emphasized how Post Malone is one of the most followed artists in today's generation, and that he couldn't even be in this type of illegal activity as it only harms his fans.
I mean, to me, Post Malone is one of the biggest artists on this planet, and he should have no business doing this type of scam.
And I agree with him.
Jamari continued to say that the NFT project with Post was a surefire scam, stating,
FYZ NFT is yet another coin that's going to be pretty much another pump and dump. I do have evidence of this.
Hold 50 of these coins to get a chance to get you there. But nothing had happened, right? And Post Malone does seem like a pretty nice guy. So let's see what the outcome was.
You could see by the graph, it's pretty much useless at this point. I mean, it's worth literally nothing. It's gone straight to the dirt.
Yikes. Jamari even did the math just to show how costly the project was for Post Malone's fans and what that amounted to at the end of everything.
So at that time, in order to own 50 of these coins, let's do some simple math. You're gonna do 50 times 20. So you're spending around $1,000 for a chance to play this beer pong game with Post Malone.
The Post Malone's fans had been duped.
To put the nail in the coffin,
the same $1,000 investment that Post Malone was telling his fans to spend on the NFT essentially became worthless after a while, which is not really a worthwhile investment and something that fans should strictly take notice of.
So if you bought $1,000 worth up here, at that point you would have owned 50 coins, keep in mind. That same 1,000 today is worth $43.
Yeah, not great. But as I said, there were other A-list rap artists who did this as well. One of them being DJ Khaled, who isn't necessarily a rapper, but rather a producer and DJ. In 2021, DJ Khaled, alongside other influencers, decided to promote the NFT Bored Bunny, which is just a worse version of the Bored Ape, which fun fact, DJ Khaled also endorsed. But DJ Khaled had also been wrapped up in another NFT scam, in another crypto scam previously, so he had actually promised the SEC that he wasn't going to promote a cryptocurrency because he legally couldn't. However, this project, We the Best, wasn't a cryptocurrency, since the SEC deems NFTs as digital assets rather than crypto, so DJ Khaled got a pass. So what went wrong? When the Bored Bunny NFT launched in 2021, it promised 4,999 Bored Bunny NFTs for a release with a mint price of 0.4 ETH. These NFTs featured cartoon bunnies that were supposed to look like the celebrity promoting it, such as this DJ Khaled one. But of course, it wasn't all good. So what went wrong? Well, the internet sleuth Zach XBT found out. When the project first launched, on the website's benefits and utility section, they promised that the first investment would 2x, 5x, or maybe even 10x the value of your investment. That's already a huge red flag, by the way. According to Zach XBT, within a few days of release, the NFT sold out within an hour, initially raising 7.5 million and another 3 million in secondary fees. It's also worth noting that Floyd Mayweather promoted this one as well. After the project's initial release, they dropped another collection of the Bored Bunny NFTs, this time called Bored Bad Bunny NFTs. The collection announced 11,101 NFTs, plus 4,000 more for the original Bored Bunny holders. This release amassed over $10 million. This all sounds good though, right? However, Bored Bunny may have flown a little too close to the sun when they announced yet another line of 3,000 NFTs called Bored Mutant Bunny NFTs, which raised suspicions from investors. And slowly but surely, the Bored Bunny community noticed how the floor prices of the NFTs slumped, and the Bored Bunny NFT creators went MIA from social media for weeks on end, which would cause mayhem in the investor community. But you see, when these 3,000 new NFTs were dropped, only 532 of them would be purchased, and this is where everything would start to really go wrong. Zach XBT would trace the transaction history, where he would discover that all the profits from the Bored Bunny NFT were moved into centralized exchanges in several different wallets. Upon checking the chain, Zach XBT found clear ties to two different $2 million NFT rug pulls, Ancient Cats Club and Crazy Camel, which means that these founders had participated in other scams. And just a quick interlude. Do you see the pattern here? If not, let me explain. Based on the research done in this video, there are 4 factors that indicate whether an NFT project is a scam or not. So if an NFT has these 4 factors, stay the hell away from it. It's backed by a celebrity or influencer. This is the largest red flag. The project is based on an animal. The animal is either bored or some other adjective, but the most important part is it's an NFT. I'm just joking by the last part, of course. So if you see these factors in a crypto investment, immediately get out. Because you're better off investing in other things like Pokemon cards, wine, or as we've previously discussed, platinum luxury watches. So going back to the Bored Bunny NFT fiasco, while the Bored Bunny community was panicking and NFT developers / scammers were nowhere to be found for weeks, project's founder would magically reappear to address the investors, and boy, the excuses are nothing short of hilarious. Bored Bunny's NFT founder Jeff would tweet out the following: "Hi Bored Bunny members, hope you are all well. I come back to you to give you some news about myself and some explanations about the project. Pretty standard apology script. Primarily, the reason of my absence this last month was that I have been through a lot of emails. Let me get this straight. After raising $21 million from your NFT project, seeing the floor price for your NFTs drop to almost zero, and being accused of a rug pull, you suddenly go MIA for a month and you come back and say, there's so many emails, you guys. That's why I couldn't answer your questions. My bad. Messages in private that I received. Many people have threatened me with, I can't say that word, and especially qualified me as a scammer without any reason. Well, this one's pretty messed up, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I don't condone sending anyone those types of threats. Even if they scam their investors over 21 million, just not the way to go. However, Jeff does deny being a scammer, so that's a defense. He even mentioned refunding around 600K. Pretty generous compared to the other people we spoke about, if you ask me. I'm everything but not a scammer. I refunded all the community when the hack happened over 400K. I gave the funds for the community funds who choose to use it to sweep the floor and place off the DAO over 200,000. And don't worry, for all those people, I'm taking care of it myself with the legal team. Pretty nice of you to acknowledge your massive Bored Bunny community. I mean, that's the least you could do after rug pulling them. Hilariously enough, Zach XBT would reply with a tweet saying team disappears for 1.5 months and this is your reason. Sadly, the nail in this coffin would happen when the creators of Bored Bunny would hand over the control of the project on Discord to a moderator, which pretty much confirmed that the entire scheme was a long-winded drug pull. More so, the promised merch was not delivered, and I don't think it ever will be. And while the team behind the Bored Bunny NFT have yet to be in any legal trouble, It's only a matter of time before someone ends up in jail. As for DJ Khaled, well, only time will tell whether the producer finds another crypto scheme to profit on. But these crypto scams still aren't as bizarre as some of the others. Our 9th crypto scam on this list is slightly baffling due to the weird pairing of artists. Neo, Fred Durst, Bow Wow, and Jason Derulo all together in one sentence. But here we are.
So what exactly were they promoting?
Reading the description, the Rich Dwarves Tribe is a collection of unique and rare digital artworks stored as ERC-721 tokens on the Ethereum blockchain and hosted on IFPS. This first chapter, Maso's Clan, is composed of 4,499 dwarves distributed into 4 divisions. The dwarves have all been digitized into high-quality 3D NFTs. As the name suggests, the NFTs look like rich dwarves, and the Rich Dwarves Tribe RDT followed the same route as the other NFT projects on this list, using celebrities to promote their NFTs, and in this case, Jason Derulo, Neo, and Fred Durst were basically among the 4 notable names attached to the project, and I don't think it's a stretch to say that these artists helped sell the NFT. I mean, just look at Bow Wow's promotion of RDT. This looks super convincing.
You need to go ahead and get on this right now. I'm telling you, right? I discovered this NFT page and they just announced a public sale. It's a big project. And to me, it reminds me of like when the apes dropped.
Bow Wow even gave instructions on how to mint, basically like buy and activate the Rich Dwarves Tribe NFT.
It ain't gonna be no different. And you definitely want to go ahead and do what I'm about to do. I'm gonna go ahead and do it right here on my Insta story. Check this out.
And to be honest, while watching Bow Wow,
I think it was money very well spent by the marketing team. I mean, I definitely did not just watch him read off of a script. Not at all.
And it's not like he was just getting caught in the hype, much like how he wanted his followers to be. And look at Neo's tweet promoting the Rich Dwarves Tribe NFT. Look at this art, guys. Thank you so much, Rich Dwarves Tribe, for this NFT. I want to blow this project up. I'm gonna make this project blow up. Hashtag from the mines to the moon. It looks like he really studied what he was marketing to his fans. Now, with all of that, it might seem like the promotions for these hip-hop/R&B artists somehow still work, because on December 17th, 2021, within 24 hours of the NFT's announcement, the founders would mention how its Discord server gained over 10,000 members. But if you've been paying attention, and by now, I really hope you are, having 10,000 members within 24 hours, and honestly, this alone should have been the obvious red flag that would have stopped would-be investors from pursuing the project. Why? Well, those 10,000 members would turn out to be, that's right, you guessed it, bots. The project's creators would then go on to identify themselves as the dwarf avatars, Brock, Umdul, and Erard. Now, are you smelling more BS? Cause I am. These 3 founders would hide behind the secret identities and justify it as maintaining anonymity. First of all, we are not looking for fame. Since our very first business, we have always worked in silence and in the shadows. We are people of simple and discreet nature. The founders would then provide an angle of following ethics to ensure that they weren't scamming people, instead of maybe just properly identifying yourself so that your investors could have some assurance. The Rich Dwarves Tribe was not created randomly. It is a whole universe that represents us. We work hard in the shadows and out of sight for the sake of the tribe. Ethics is the most important value for all members of the team, the founders, or all the actors who gravitate around these projects. The team would even justify their secret identities by mentioning how the other NFT scams would provide names but still scam investors. That makes it okay for them to hide their identities while also scamming. We don't think that giving our identity will impact the success of our project. Many projects give their name and get away with it, and conversely, many anonymous projects prosper. And lastly, they just said they had a long-term community, yada yada yada. And while they did address the community via that quote-unquote sincere message, they didn't really provide solid examples and genuine stories of themselves and their work. But once the project got more streams via promotions, the RDT project slowly but surely gained more and more attention from other artists and investors. Once investments grew to insane numbers, the team behind the project began to run off with the money. The founders had even made some loyal investors Discord mods for the entire project, leaving these mods like @WTF Goku to unknowingly do the dirty work for them. Look at him coping so hard. In reasoning, this is what's called the sunk cost fallacy, which is a human tendency to follow through on something that they have committed much time, effort, and money into, despite knowing the ship is sinking. And this is the reasoning that also causes many investors to fail on scam NFTs and cryptocurrencies. So to keep the Rich Dwarves Tribe and continue mooching off the money from their oblivious investors, Brock, one of the founders, tried to convince the community to sweep the floors, which means that these gullible investors were being encouraged to join together and buy up the cheap supply on the secondary market in order to artificially boost the NFT's floor price and gain increasing control over the supply. He even begged investors who actually became aware of the BS happening to stop spreading FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, which is basically them saying, yo, stop convincing people to be smart.
Another tactic these founders did to convince more buyers and retain their community was create a cash giveaway program, which also turned out to be a bunch of yes. As you can expect, with so much chaos created from getting exposed as an eventful scam, RDT's owners would bust out the good old excuses. By the way, all these conversations were sourced directly from the Discord community conversations, which are curated by @WTFGoku himself, which you can check out here. In the end, the founders ran away like rats with around $3 million with zero consequences. Zach XBT even discovered that this rug pull was also connected to the previously discussed Bored Bunny scam. In other words, some of these guys were finding multiple rappers and just running scams with multiple times. But while Bow Wow, Neo, and Jason Derulo were not explicitly punished for their involvement in the $3 million RDT scam, our next rapper was caught in a gunfire that would end up costing him. We are talking about one of the biggest artists of the 2000s and early 2010s, the original Soulja himself, T.I. T.I. was involved in a crypto scam incident so prominent that it even reached the ears of the big bad SEC. Basically, in 2017, T.I. was approached by the Flick owner Brian Felton to promote his business. Flick was a new entertainment streaming platform which was advertised with the potential to surpass Netflix. As explained by Spencer Cornelia, a YouTuber and internet sleuth like Zach's XBT and Copyzilla, Flick was like a Netflix but on a Web3 space, stating,
Flick was claiming to be a video streaming platform promoted as Netflix on the blockchain. Investors could invest in this blockchain-driven company and technology in hopes that the company Flick would produce the product they say they were going to produce, it turns a huge profit, and everyone gets rich.
Aside from Flick, Felton also approached T.I. to promote a digital asset trading platform called CoinSpark. Essentially, Felton promoted an initial coin offering, ICO, for Flick and CoinSpark to gain funds to develop these platforms. And his plan to pump the ICOs for these projects was to falsely claim that T.I. was the co-owner of the platforms to boost sales. Now, as we've learned from DJ Khaled's scam, ICOs stand for Initial Coin Offering. It's very similar to companies when they go IPO, which stands for Initial Public Offering. In other words, it's like a company selling shares. However, these coins don't really have value. They're not businesses. They're just hyped up, sold as a profit, usually for founders, and dumped on retail investors, people like you and me. And many know that they're very risky. According to the US's SEC press release on the case, alleged members of T.I.'s camp, such as Chance White, Owen Smith, and T.I.'s social media manager, William Sparks, were also involved in the promotion department of the scam. So T.I. would agree and falsely claim to be a co-owner of the platforms so that he could con his millions of followers into increasing ICO sales, which further alarmed the SEC on the scam. And when the SEC conducted a deeper investigation into the matter, they found out not only were the Flick and CoinSpark coins not being registered, but also that Felton's promise to build a digital streaming platform for Flick and a digital asset trading platform for CoinSpark were all baseless claims. As uncovered by the SEC, after the ICO closed, Felton dumped more than 40 million Flick coins on trading markets, causing the value of Flick coins to plummet. So how did Felton get convincingly convicted of his crimes? Well, lucky for us, the head of United States investigations, Beth Bisbee, had all the backing to nail Felton for multiple counts of wire fraud, securities fraud, and money laundering, which is a whole story in and of itself. But basically, Felton had bought a Ferrari, $1 million home, diamond jewelry, and other luxury goods. So now, he's gonna go to prison and pay a ton of money, counting to $2.8 million plus a prejudgment interest in the amount of $704,000. But what about T.I., the rapper that was involved? I mean, he did falsely claim to be a co-owner of the scam, project, or I guess you can say scam now. Plus, he blatantly promoted these crypto scams, right? Well, luckily for him, he was only ordered to pay $75,000. And when I say only, I mean compared to how much money was made total, as well as agreeing to not promote any digital currency for the next 5 years. Pretty minor punishment for such a careless involvement in a scam, you ask me. And finally, in a bid to save face from angry scam fans, a spokesperson on T.I.'s behalf spoke to Complex to state that Mr. Harris, which is T.I., regrets his involvement with Mr. Felton. He attempted to help a local entrepreneur who presented an innovative idea for a streaming online platform that would help reduce the barriers of entry for creators of music and video content. Which just sounds like a formal way of saying that T.I. carelessly accepted a suspicious proposition from a man without doing any amount of research to promote suspicious platforms to his oblivious fans. However, while we've been discussing nonstop about rappers and influencers scamming their fans or being involved in the scams in one way or another, this next incident is a bit different, as it's basically a rapper getting caught lacking, Waka Flocka. Waka Flocka was one of the many celebrities who were seriously getting into the NFT space. Unfortunately, his lack of awareness about NFT scams became his Roman Empire. In December of 2021, scammers hacked Flocka's OpenSea wallet and added malicious NFTs to it. And while NFTs work on smart contracts, meaning that you don't get easily hacked, Waka clicked on the NFTs to delete them, which sent the NFTs to a burn address, which promptly activated the contract. In total, the hackers stole $19,000 from his OpenSea account. Posting on Twitter, he was obviously pressed about getting scammed, calling out OpenSea on the social media platform and begging for help.
Yo, this is fake, this is fake, this is fake, this is fake. They popped up in my wallet, I clicked on it to delete it. Immediately, they stole 19 grand.
Unfortunately for him, that 19K was gone. And something kind of ironic is that one time Waka was actually trying to convince the controversial podcaster Adam22 to invest in NFTs, saying how rich it would make him.
I was on the phone with Waka Flocka, him telling me, he goes, you are going to make so much money off NFTs that you're not even going to have to do this podcast shit anymore. And I remember just thinking like, what are you talking about?
Adam was a little skeptical, and rightfully so.
Yeah, that did not age well.
But moving on from the somewhat malicious, funny, yet tragic incident, let's look at one last rapper with no remorse for the actions. This time, the controversial YSL rapper, Gunna. On January 31st, 2022, Gunna announced the launch of his Ethereum-based crypto, Pushing P. I can't lie, that name goes hard. Since this is the 12th entry in the video, you already know this tweet right here is going to cause some serious mayhem and heartbreak for investors and fans of the project. In a now deleted tweet, Gunna mentioned how he knew Pushing P was gonna fly, and even told his fans to join the Telegram group. Aside from Gunna's tweet, the now dead Pushing P website, pushingpeth.com, which now links to a home decor website for some reason, provided descriptions of this crypto project, claiming that Pushing P was transparent and secure and emphasizing locked liquidity and renounced ownership. A cryptocurrency that works for you, helps you increase your holdings over time. We offer complete transparency and the latest security to all our holders. Additionally, the liquidity is locked on Unicrypt and the ownership of the contract is renounced, which meant that it should have been safe. It's worth noting that the Shane Moonchart, a reputed personality in the crypto game, was backing the Pushing P project, which added a bit more credibility to the project. But as we can expect, this would all soon crash to the ground, as just hours after the launch of Pushing P on February 1st, 2022, the crypto asset went flying to the moon and then suddenly crashed with a rapid decline over the next few hours, which meant that Gunna had just done a rug pull, as seen in this graph. Immediately, to save himself from getting dragged to the mud, Gunna released the tweet to distance himself from the scam, stating how his Twitter got hacked and apologizing to fans who got scammed. To my followers and fans, I didn't know anything about this Pushing P ETH scam. Somebody hacked my Twitter and I immediately deleted the tweet. I would never co-sign any fraud or scams privately or publicly. And I'm extremely sorry to anyone who was scammed. But unfortunately, no one bought this BS. Even fans were smelling the lies from a mile away. And who else but the crypto scams victims, Lord and Savior Zach XBT, to expose the Pushing fraud scam, creating his patented series of detailed and accurate tweets to expose the suspicious activity behind the scam. Among the things that set off the alarm for fans and investors was when Shane Moonchart distanced himself from the project by deleting tweets related to the Pushing P project. A day after he deleted his tweets, Gunna did as well, deleting his tweet promoting Pushing P. And a few hours after deleting the tweets, the Pushing P Twitter account disappeared. The funny thing about this was that, remember that apology from Gunna where he basically said his Twitter account was hacked? Well, Zach would expose him for his lies. Basically, Zach XBT provided receipts showing Gunna did accept the offer to promote Pushing P, even replying, "Finna fly." More hilarious was that Zach even retrieved the conversation between Gunna and the Pushing P team to discuss what Gunna was going to tweet, as well as when the tweet should be posted.
It really doesn't get more red-handed than that. I mean, they caught him in 4K.
But I mean, we gotta give Gunna a break. At the end of the day, he needs money to fly your girl out and spend money on her shopping, right?
Okay guys, are we officially a couple now? Can we actually say we're officially a couple?
What's worse is that the crypto's value plummeted to nearly zero and didn't even last for more than 8 hours. This was obviously a significant loss for fans and investors, and it looks like Gunna got away. But what I took away from this is how easily people get scammed, and how easy it is to get rappers or anyone with any level of fame to promote a scam to their audience. Keep in mind, I'm sure some of them just thought these were like sponsorships.
However, if you stayed this long into the video, I have a bonus for you. It's my first time, so let me know what you think.
Remember the jewelry section in the beginning of this video? I mean, the first half?
Well, I wanted to give you guys a crash course on the history of jewelry within hip hop and how it became so ingrained in the culture in the first place.
So let's get into it. In order to understand how a music genre became so intertwined with one of the most corrupt and most preyed upon industries in music history,
it's necessary to learn about the history to understand the culture and roots behind it.
and discover why rappers and hip-hop fans take the bait and value it so much. Hip-hop nerds and old heads alike will probably agree that in the beginning, hip-hop was a culture-wide medium used by the discriminated, oppressed, segregated POCs, and lower income brackets. Their music served to tell stories, their trials and tribulations, and daily experiences. Rap was rooted in artistry, activism, resistance, and competitiveness. These 4 factors made rap a spectacle to witness, as rappers basically wore their angst on their sleeves. Rappers' fits during battles allowed them to display their personalities, rap styles, status in life, their bravado, and their hard-earned wealth. This meant wearing the most expensive clothes, top-of-the-line sneakers, and the shiniest jewelry, all in the means of one-upping the competition. And while the culture of direct rap battles and rivalries may have dialed down slightly compared to the older days, the sentiment of flashy fits and glowing jewelry still lives today.
But who ushered in this early era of the bling game?
Hip-hop historians might get excited when I tell them the name of this rapper, who many credit as the artist who made rocking gold chains relevant, and that name is Kurtis Blow, who made waves in the rap and jewelry industry after wearing this sick gold chain set in the album cover of his legendary self-titled album, Kurtis Blow, in 1980. Unsurprisingly, this album cover became a catalyst for rappers to follow, with the trend of wearing all your jewelry like your life depended on it, or it was an Indian wedding. Legendary MCs like Slick Rick and Biz Markie were at the forefront of this new wave of rappers flexing all types of gold chains. Most notably, Eric B. and Rakim released their iconic album Paid in Full in 1987, with the album cover showing the arguably greatest duo in hip-hop flashing massive amounts of gold. Big Daddy Kane answered this with his legendary release Long Live the Kane, displaying an album cover portraying him as a king surrounded by women and wearing some of the biggest gold chains at the time. And as you can expect, having such iconic albums with those as album covers is sure to start a trend. Then more artists would showcase not just their rap skills, but also their own styles. Artists such as Run DMC and LL Cool J started to make noise in the rap scene, bringing hip-hop into the eyes and ears of millions of people worldwide. These rappers also ushered in a new era of rap fashion by dressing in more customized massive gold chains with large pendants on the end of them, along with gold watches and rings, setting the standard for what a rapper should look like for decades to come. LL Cool J started sporting 3-finger and 4-fingered rings alongside his patented Americana color palette. At this point in the video, we've been exploring the rich history surrounding hip-hop and jewelry, but what we should all be paying attention to is how slowly this jewelry scene is getting absurd and how much more irrational these pieces are getting, which I'm not gonna lie, they're hard, they look cool. But while at the same time, it seems like these rappers are getting compelled to buy and wear expensive bling for the sake of it. Now let's jump into corporate America and when they got a hold of the bling game, not just overall, but in hip-hop. During the early to mid 90s, the flashy style of wearing each and every jewelry you had dialed down a bit and was replaced by minimalism, either due to growing costs or because it drew too much attention from malicious individuals. Artists like NWA established a more minimalistic style, only wearing one chain and a pendant, or even, wait for it, no chain at all. On the other hand, Run DMC further changed the way hip-hop seen in America by partnering with a global footwear company in Adidas. And wearing those custom-made big necklaces, massive necklaces, set the foundation for how many artists in the future could broaden their brands. Rip Jam Master Jay. Going back to the topic, even the Notorious B.I.G. opted for a simpler fit,
wearing the iconic and timeless Jesus piece,
crafted by Tito the Jeweler, a name we gladly did not encounter in our previous segment. The chain has been recreated and worn by dozens of artists, people like Ghostface Killah, Kanye West, to even modern rappers like Big Sean. A young rapper by Tana even recently named one of his songs Jesus Piece, and I wonder if he knows the history behind it. So even though Biggie and NWA are among the greatest, what should be noted is that rap and its rappers were slowly moving away from its purely activism roots and service to a more capitalistic and, dare I say, corporate image. So it was now the mid-2000s, and hip-hop has evolved into a more profitable and exploited field due to its hands in corporate America. And there's nothing inherently wrong with this, it's just how the world works. But what were its effects?
Rap albums and records started selling on a mainstream level, meaning some of these rappers began making more money than they knew what to do with.
For example, Eminem made around $3 million for his acting gig on 8 Mile, a film that made over $250 million. Lil Wayne oddly became the face of safe sex when he endorsed the condom brand campaign. Meanwhile, 50 Cent earned around $100 million from his stake in Vitamin Water when it was sold to Coca-Cola for $4.1 billion. Rappers like Florida and Nelly each sold their own energy drinks. Remember Drake's weird Sprite commercial? Well, I don't, I was like 5 years old. And even Lil Romeo had a snack deal endorsement. This is all to say that the world of hip hop had suddenly became eye candy to the predatory grip of the quote unquote corporate. By the way, there's nothing really wrong with this, just how stuff works. Rappers were earning at an all-time high, which meant they were spending equally as high or more. I mean, the rappers, they gotta flex. So with the hip hop cash flow at the peak, this meant that rappers had all the money to buy absurd amounts of jewelry. Literally every rapper wore jewelry, like it was necessary for hip hop.
But as we've established, things were getting absurd.
And well, let's just say it got out of control and greed bled into the entire hip hop scene. While Biggie had his Jesus piece, Nas turned to Egyptian mythology for inspiration for his bling. His massive iconic King Tut chain, embezzled with diamonds and worth over $65,000, incited the trend of absurdly large chains for rappers. In fact, some of hip-hop's most iconic and ridiculously expensive jewelry emerged during that era. Mike Jones with his $1 million Ice Age chain, Kanye's $300K Horus, Dipset's sick Jewels chain, and this ugly Crunk A Dead chain by Lil Jon worth $500K. T-Pain's legendary Big Ass chain, and the Game's 50K chain. Remember him saying he was broke? But as awesome as these rappers might look,
on the back of these chains were fees and payments that not every rapper could actually pay for.
And the sad part is, these artists can't do anything but splurge money on jewelry or risk getting left in irrelevance, or more embarrassing, pretend to be wearing the real thing. So you see, that ties into the very beginning of this video. Rappers have no choice but to either buy and wear the flashiest jewelry or to fake it just to get noticed.
I think 75% or more, I can tell. They can't even stand next to me. And when I look, I know if it's some cheaper diamonds, I know if they shit like got it. You know what I'm saying?
In an interview with Wall Street Journal, famous jeweler Jason Arashabin mentioned how many rappers are wearing fake jewelry just to stay relevant. A lot of these rappers simply don't have the money for the real stuff anymore. It's to the point where they are wearing imitation jewelry, and that's ridiculous. But there's a budding question to all of this. Why? Why do rappers feel they need to spend their hard-earned cash to buy and wear expensive jewelry? And why do others feel compelled to wear fake bling? Why risk your money or authenticity? Culture Decoded cleverly answered these questions by establishing how having and flexing jewelry are part of a so-called rapper starter kit.
Chain, rented vehicle, Airbnb, and random IG model looking for a quick buck.
And that quote-unquote starter kit is also the reason why so many rappers go broke.
However, on a revealing interview, the legendary Slick Rick admitted that in their era, rappers didn't have the financial backing that modern rappers have, and thus had to borrow theirs.
The days when rappers used to start off, we used to have to borrow the jewelry before we could purchase it. So that's why you hear a lot of rumors where they say, you don't own that, you don't own this.
But like we've emphasized, whether old school or modern era, the competitive nature of rap leaves its participants with no choice but to get the bling to survive.
It's not a bad thing, it's just you gotta sell yourself like Cinderella.
But on the other side of this, there are those in the hip hop scene that see the jewelry game in a different light, noting while some risk their lives for the real thing, a fake bling might just get you the same deal. According to Wallow, in this really sketchy interview with Gilly and Raheem the Jeweler, he mentions that the real jewelry and fake jewelry make no difference to the untrained eye, as both can get you the same chick.
His joint lighten up just like your joint lighten up, but you done took 1,000 penitentiary chances, and he gonna get the same chick you gonna get.
And some rappers even admit to using fake jewelry to further gain attention and establish themselves in the rap game, such as Moneybagg Yo.
I used to put on fake jewelry.
Because like what?
Because I used to understand about entertainment, you have to look like money to get money.
Another good example is Ugly God, who despite ironically wearing fake stuff, is as real as it gets.
So that's fake right there.
Yeah.
That's not real gold.
Hell no.
Looks pretty good. Yeah. Looks like real gold.
It's some good fakes.
And while the fact that being a scam is displayed for the whole world to see,
it's undeniable how alluring jewelry really is.
As jewelry means more than just fashion, but a symbol.
Bling is a flex, it's a status symbol, and most importantly, a screaming message of success.
We've seen a multiple of rappers in this video talk about their jewelry with such passion, like it's like they're in love with it.
3 houses right here, 4 houses right here, 5 houses right here, maybe 2 houses right there, you feel me?
Jewelry, I do love jewelry. When I try and do it with class, you know what I'm saying? It's from Kanye, but Jacob made this special good music, Jesus.
Here's Lil Yachty sharing how he got addicted to jewelry.
It was like a joke because literally you buy one thing and then it just, you look at it for like a couple weeks and then it gets small, you know? It'd be big when you first bought it.
Rappers even sing about it, admitting how much they need and desire the bling, such as in Kanye's Touch the Sky, which I talked about before, but just want to say again. I went to Jacob an hour after I got my advance, I just wanted to shine.
And this is where it all ties together. As we've learned,
the history that connects hip-hop and jewelry go deep. It's rooted in the many facets of the culture and music, but when you've got rappers getting robbed for it, such as the most recent case with PNB Rock, it begs the question of whether hip-hop still needs jewelry, or is jewelry literally and figuratively sucking the life dry out of the hip-hop game. Okay, that was a bit dramatic, but I think it can be harmful at times. The bigger picture paints an industry of a toxic and parasitic cycle of people want to get in the game and be rappers to change and improve their lives. The industry lulls you into thinking that you want and need jewelry to survive. Other artists see your bling and want to outshine you, so they buy more expensive bling. And you go and do the same. So now you're wearing all of this bling, most of which you could barely afford, some which aren't really worth anything. And now the young kids who aspire to be rappers look at you and want to be you and take your shine. The only people that get richer and richer are who? The jewelers. This, to me, sounds like some of the most disturbing scams that the music industry is facing. However, luckily not all rappers in our modern era have been fooled by the allure of jewelry. One of them is Lil Durk, who's given his fellow rappers advice on Instagram on buying jewelry. Stop buying all this jewelry without knowing what you're doing. A lot of this fake and some is overpriced. Get one jeweler and stick to him. I'm telling you, y'all are gonna be pissed when the truth come out. Although Durk was also not safe from criticism when it came to the jewelry game, as he's been called out for spending absurd amounts of money on jewelry, as highlighted in this post by DJ Academics in September of 2022. Lil Durk spent over $3 million with his jeweler, but in line with the sentiments on the matter, Lil Durk refuted Act's claim, stating, "Lol, hell nah, bro, the chain was $250 to $260. I spent over $3 million with Izzy," meaning that was the total. Durk has even doubled down on his advice on being smart about jewelry investments, launching his own line called Only the Family in May of 2024 by partnering with the acclaimed Miami-based jewelry brand Gold. But he's not the only one. Other top rappers are also outgrowing the jewelry lifestyle. One of them is 21 Savage, who told everyone he stopped investing in jewelry. But I saved the last, and often touted as the most obnoxious, for last. Cordae, who's told everyone that he doesn't own any chains and just can't justify the cost based on what he makes, and none of these other rappers can either, really. So that's it. Thanks for watching. If you stayed to the end, comment something. Comment like guava. I just want to see that you've been here to the end, because this video was long and I want to see how many of you guys watch this bonus, because I like to do more. Anyways, I really appreciate the support. So thanks for spending the time to watch this video, and see you in the next one. Bye.